we'll begin by praying to all the previous acharyas to bestow their mercy upon us so that we can learn and we can be attentive and so that we can hear and chant. ओमाज्ञान्तिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी नमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नादपि सुनिचैन तिरोरिवा सहिष्णुना नमामीना मानदेन कीर्तनीया सदा हरि। One should chant the holy names of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than destroying his feet, more tolerant than free devoid of falseness and false prestige. One should be ready to offer all respect to others and expect none in return. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. जन्माद्यस्य यतः अन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु विघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि सत्यं परं धीमहि सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्टकी। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणा कीर्तनः हृदयन्तस्थो भद्राणि विनोति सुहृत्सताम्। वासुदेवे भगवती भक्ति योग प्रयोजकः ज्ञानतीयेषु वैराग्यं ज्ञानं च यत् अहेतुकं यस्मिन् वै श्रूयमाणानं कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पाद्यते पुंसा शोकमोहा भय-अपः. Okay, so we begin. What do we remember from the previous session? What are your remembrances?
I'm sorry, I have none.
Okay, all right. So all of that 2-3 hours was wastage of our time. The reasons I wastage is there should be at least some remembrance. What did we speak? What did we discuss? There has to be some consciousness, any memory, even slightest. Come now. Okay. All right. Okay. I've been upgraded to a business class, so I'm just going to go get an upgrade quickly. Thank you. It just means that I've been allowed to sit for a few hours in a VIP room to do the session. Any remembrance so far? Do you remember what was the chapter name?
Just the same as last week. It's about the most confidential knowledge.
Wonderful.
Um,
Okay, that's good.
King, King of knowledge, and um,
The king of
I think,
all knowledge. Yes.
yeah, King of
So you
knowledge,
have so
and
much memory. You-
well, I mean, the King of knowledge, that everything rests on Krishna, and
Yes.
he's independent from. So how would you say that? Everything, most confidential knowledge is basically the only way to have that revealed uh, is with pure devotion and love,
Yes.
and only then will it be revealed. You can get
Beautiful.
to know Krishna, but the yeah, the real yeah, it's just what I said. I don't know how to explain it more deeply.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and but Krishna, although he supervises the material world, he supervises it. That doesn't mean
Hmm.
to say he works. Uh, he supervises it. He has other entities organize everything for him.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
But I mean,
Yes.
that's not actually related to this chapter. So,
No, but
but
it's still it's still relevant. There are few shlokas mentioning it. Krishna is the source of everything. Okay. So you do have some memories. That's very good to know.
yeah, but I
Um,
don't know if it's exactly from last week. Um,
because you're studying previous chapters and sections, so that yeah, I can understand. Don't worry about it. Okay, Bidisha Mataji, what do you remember? Any memory?
Yes, Prabhuji, we talked about like the true bhakti,
Mm-hmm.
and it mentions that like we talk about like the big spiritualist and gyanis, they perform yagyas and Vedas and so other fruitive activities. But
Mm-hmm.
Krishna mentions that just loving him selflessly and performing bhakti, uh, our effort is equivalent to those of performing yagnas and studying Vedas and other fruitive activities, and we return back to him.
Mm-hmm.
He
Okay.
then there were I mean, like, I remember some aspects here and there, and he says like when he came down like in a
Mm.
human form, the fool thinks that he's a normal human beings, because in our material senses we cannot fathom that how a human can control both finite and infinite.
Wonderful. Mm.
And
Mm.
as a result, so we have karma yogis, jnana yogis. So whatever efforts they are putting in and energies in their work, in acquiring
Mm.
knowledge, everything becomes a waste, because they are perceiving and trying to understand him in the essence of Maya.
Mm. Mm.
Because it is
Under illusion.
yes, under illusion, nobody, it's only the true devotees, with the help of knowledge from acharyas, they understand that Krishna is infinite.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Otherwise, for others, it is very difficult to understand how does he control. He just looks like mere mortal being.
Yes, yes. Okay. Okay,
Then
wonderful.
there are like we you talked about like the devotees, how or the level of devotees, like the at the beginning there are certain devotees who doesn't care about others and
Mm.
associations. They
Mm.
only
Mm.
come to the temple and they're interested in deities. But then once you reach to the middle level, madhyam
Mm.
adhikari, they will respect deities, come to the temple to gain knowledge and take the benefit of the true devotee association.
Beautiful.
And
Mm.
then the senior adhikari is like Uttam adhikari. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they are always associated with senior devotees and those who are well versed in scriptures, and they are always in servicing Krishna and they never give up. serving Krishna.
Beautiful.
And that was there. And you asked about like I think Mahatmas, you know,
Okay, wonderful.
who is Mahatma, and we have some brief knowledge, and we did give some our ideas, but in the chapter, as Vijay Gauranga Prabhu said, like it's very much in line to the true Vaishnavas, rather, uh,
Yes.
that they take the shelter and surrender to Krishna. So Krishna is everything, and they are the word you emphasize is continuously worshiping Krishna and doing devotional services. And they never stop. They do not, they never divert their attention to anything. For them,
Correct.
everything, every single thing in this world, everything they're doing is Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah. So that is
Beau-
what I remember.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much for your very good remembrance.
No, I
You
had to
know,
go back and forth with the videos. Otherwise, Prabhuji, with one class, I wouldn't remember. I understand it, but I cannot retain it.
so
Because
I am very,
obviously not thinking of Krishna always. That is the reason.
so I'm very indebted. You took time to go back to videos. I'm really, really indebted to those that you're making some time to actually learn the subject matter by going back and forth and contemplating and reflecting and asking questions. So this is the correct way of learning.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't do it this time. I'm sorry.
no, 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 no. You still remember. You still remember. So I'm very grateful. You know, you have the memories and you're sincere. You're attending it. There are a lot of students who are not attending it or they're just listening to the videos and they're still giving exams, but you're attending it. So I'm so very grateful. I just also wanted to mention this, not just for your benefits, but also for the benefits of people who are going to listen it on video. Is Yeah, see, there is the whole of Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters, and a student of Bhagavad Gita must understand every chapter and actually understand connections between all the chapter and actually understand each of the verses and each of the words of Bhagavad Gita. But supposedly, you are not able to do anything. But still, if you manage to do chapter 9 and 10, then you have not missed anything. Um, so simple point is one can study for the exams and actually one can study to know Krishna. And someone can say, I don't have time. So if you don't have time, then read just 6 chapters, middle 6 chapters. But it's always recommended to go step by step from beginning to end. So ninth and 10th chapter is very important to understand because these chapters they are called essence of Bhagavad Gita. In fact, if someone asks you to summarize Bhagavad Gita, literally in 4 shlokas, if someone asks you to tell you Bhagavad Gita in 4 shlokas, then these 4 shlokas are in chapter 10th, which we're going to study today. You're on mute.
I have a question about that because the exam asks you to link chapters and things like that. That's really, really quite difficult. And what you're explaining or asking us to do is so detailed. It's so detailed. It really is detailed. And you can
Hmm.
just make you can just make a mistake with one word, and it can make a huge difference.
Indeed, indeed. That's why
Like the
I
word
will share.
entangled. Uh, there's another word that's a synonym to that, but they're not the same. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, they are not the same. And therefore, Mahatma Gandhi was reading this book for 40 years. A lot of the devotees have been reading this for all of their life. But essential idea is to actually get essence of Bhagavad Gita in Bhakti Shastri, be able to summarize what each chapter is about, what Krishna is actually speaking, what's the connection between the chapters, what are the key topics of Bhagavad Gita, 5 key topics of Bhagavad Gita, and each chapter has a topic that Krishna discusses into the major theme. Like the 10th chapter is opulences of Krishna or vibhutis, like that. So similarly, let's go back and revise ninth chapter. In my understanding, there is no I in my own personal studies, I never move ahead till I have revised what I have done previous day. So that's why it takes so much time. So you have to revise all of the things that you have done previously, and then you manage to get some time to do one or two or three or four shlokas for today. Someone can think that, okay, what if I manage to spend all of my time reading the whole chapter instead of revising what I did previously? That's not important. What's important is what do you remember? What's your memory of Krishna? So that's why my apologies, I force and pressure you all to remember from your memory, and I've become very, very pleased even if you remember something, because that memory and that remembrance of that something is what your soul has captured. So even if you forget all of this 5, 10 years down the line, this whatever memory that you have just told me, suddenly it will pop up from inside your heart, because that's the promise of Krishna in 10th chapter, that he helps devotees and how he helps devotees. Yes, Vijay Gaurang Prabhu.
I remember last week you did mention something about it, and you said there's something between chapter 7, 8, and 9, and one was called, I think, confidential knowledge. The next one was more confidential. The next one was most
Yes,
confidential, and
correct.
there is a subtle difference. Well, there's a big difference between 9 and 8 and 7, but especially 9 being most confidential, and that one is sticking in my head kind of more often.
Okay, okay,
But
okay. That's
could
that's great.
maybe in a nutshell, could you say something about that? The
Yeah, yeah.
connection
So
between those.
yeah, seventh and ninth chapter are very similar. Most of the topics are very similar. There is mention about hearing in seventh chapter, and ninth chapter also begins like that. And seventh chapter has mention of demigods. Ninth chapter also mentions about that. Seventh chapter mentions about pure devotional service, Kevala Bhakti, or Ananya Bhakti or Akinchana Bhakti. And ninth chapter also mentions the same topics. So really one may contemplate and say that this is repetitive, and this is why is same thing repeated again? Why is Krishna repeating? Supreme Lord is repeating. But actually ninth chapter is way deeper, way, way deeper in that sense.
So you mentioned Ananya Bhakti, but you mentioned two other versions which have a same or the similar meaning. This becomes confusing for me.
Yes, they have different meanings. They don't have similar meanings, they have different meanings, but they refer to an aspect of pure devotional service. Ananya means, Anya means something other. Ananya means nothing else. So when you use the word nothing else, which means one pointed focus, so that is Krishna. So Ananya Bhakti means one pointed bhakti, one pointed bhakti. And Prabhupada uses this word one pointed attention, one pointed mind, one pointed bhakti in Bhagavatam also. In fact, Krishna has a verse in Bhagavatam. Devotees are using a verse. Tasmad ekena manasa, with one pointed attention. Ekena, ek means one, manasa means mind. With one pointed attention, one should worship the Supreme Lord Govinda. Tasmad ekena manasa, Bhagwan satavatam pati, Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Dheya Pujascha Nityada. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should worship, chant the holy names. Remember, Dheya Pujascha. Pujascha means worship. Nityada, always. So, these four activities one should do with one pointed attention towards the Lord.
And they
So,
say also sometimes single pointed attention, correct?
yeah, single pointed, one pointed, it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So, that
And you
is
mentioned,
Ananya.
mm-hmm.
Then there is Akinchana.
Akinchana
Akin,
Bhakti.
Akinchana Bhakti. Akinchana Bhakti means, Akinchana, you have heard this word Akinchana Gochara. There is a prayers of Kunti Maharani where she uses the word Akinchana Gochara. So Akinchana is a word which is usually used for one personality who has nothing else. In his life, he has nothing, basically, like a pauper, like a beggar, like a. So Krishna says that someone who has nothing in their life, they can easily approach me. If you have wealth, if you have beauty, if you have high knowledge, then these are hindrances to reaching Krishna. But someone who has nothing, Krishna says they can easily approach me. So, in that relation, the word akinchana is used. Akinchana means one who has nothing but Krishna. So akinchana bhakti, meaning I have no one in this world. I have no absolutely nothing other than Krishna. So therefore, this is also pure devotee. So it's used in reference to pure devotional service. Akinchana bhakti, ananya bhakti, kevala bhakti. Kevala means only. So only Krishna. So all of these are aspects of pure bhakti, and therefore pure bhakti is Shuddha bhakti. You know, Shuddha means pure. So Shuddha bhakti has different names, and different names are like these: Akinchana bhakti, Ananya bhakti, like that. So they have slightly different rasa associated with each word. You know, slight different variations in meanings of each of the words, and all of them relate to Shuddha bhakti or pure bhakti. Okay, so I'll
But do we
quickly
have to
sum.
remember all of these? That's
Why
the
not?
thing.
One pointed bhakti, you know, Kevala bhakti means only Krishna. Why not? You can remember them in English. There is no harm. Because if you have to become a Shuddha bhakti, your goal is to become a Shuddha bhakt, right? Your goal is not to be a devotee in the temple. Your goal is not to be a devotee in a work professional life. Your goal is not to be a husband or a wife. What is your goal? Your goal is to become a Shuddha bhakt. For every single person, the goal is to become a Shuddha Bhakt. So if you have to become a Shuddha or pure devotee, then you have to know what are the aspects of pure devotional service. Aspects of pure devotional service are one pointed attention towards Krishna. Only Krishna, Kevala Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, Bhakti without any interruptions, constant, consistent, persistent, resilient, servant.
But it's so overwhelming, so many different words. I would be happy to learn the basics as a goal for the Bhakti Shastri, to learn the basics and then develop from there. It's
Yeah.
quite
Bhakti
overwhelming.
Shastri is basically mentioning about Shuddha Bhakti, right? Ninth chapter is about Shuddha Bhakti, and in that chapter, Prabhupada has used word Kevala Bhakti. That is Bhakti Shastri. Ananya Bhakti has been mentioned, Akinchana Bhakti has been mentioned. All of these are terms referring to their aspects of pure devotional service. So when you study chapter 9, you want to study about pure devotional service, then you have to know what's the nature of pure devotion. The nature of pure devotion is someone who is in pure devotion is with one pointed attention. Someone who is in pure devotion has only Krishna for him. They don't have anything else in their life. They can easily become pure devotees. And someone who is consistent, persistent, resilient, day after day, they are called Ananya Bhaktas or Shuddha Bhaktas, like that. So these are all different names of pure devotional service. They are all mentioned in 9th chapter. So I have to cover them in Bhakti Shastri. Yes, I agree that there are multiple terms. They may be overwhelming. They are overwhelming when actually we have no patience. And to actually study Krishna, first thing you have to do is to stop and spend time with Krishna. And that means reading, reciting, studying. These are all mentioned again in shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says this to Arjuna. Arjuna asks questions, what do I do? So Krishna says, you can control your mind by practicing. So similarly, we have to patyanti, we have to recite, we have to study, and by doing this regularly over a period of time, we will be conversant with it. So Bhakti Shastri is a course, but the course purpose is to actually get the student to recite. See, that's why you are being asked to recite shlokas, right? And after Bhakti Shastri finishes, that doesn't mean you have gotten the certificate and that's it. Yay, hooray! Throw away all the shlokas. No.
No, it's not about the certificate. It's about
Yeah.
learning. But maybe my
Exactly.
capacity isn't as good as other people's capacity. That's the thing. I can't judge that. And I don't think
This
myself
is
an
the point.
academic.
No, this is the point. And um, someone may be at a different capacity of learning, but what we are saying is when you are persistent over a long period of time, these things will become simpler and easier. Something which is new is difficult in the beginning and it feels like a poison, but when it's done over a long period of time, then these things become simpler and easier, and all these terms, they become second nature. Kinchana Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, Kevala Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, Vishuddha Bhakti, which I haven't spoken, which is not there in Bhakti Shastri so far. So all of these will become natural but it will not happen. It will not be natural immediately. So let's just go ahead and revise what we did actually in chapter 9. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
And you see the slides, right?
Not the slides, Prabhuji.
No.
Okay, what are you seeing then?
I
What do you see? You see just me?
yes, Prabhuji.
No. I see all
Okay.
three of us, but that's my screen setting.
Okay, I'm going to go allow shared screen. Share entire.
You're not able to share screen?
Now you're able to see my entire screen, right?
Uh,
Mm,
yes, now we
no,
see
yes.
Gita Mahatmya.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. So we'll summarize the 9th chapter quickly, and then we'll go on to 10th chapter. We also didn't manage to finish last few slokas of 9th chapter, which we'll cover today. So 9th chapter, we began with Gita Mahatmya, and we went to the story of Chandra Sharma and a Brahmana story, and how the goat started to speak about the glories of this chapter. And then there is benediction. If you regularly recite this chapter, you will attain the lotus feet of Lord Govind. That's quite a big benediction, to be honest. And these are the simple essence of this chapter. It reveals the most confidential knowledge, and Lord accepts even a simple offering when offered with love. And no one is disqualified from devotion, which is what the verses which were remaining to be covered last week, we'll cover them today. And God personally protects and uplifts his devotee. So this is also something we'll cover today, we were not able to cover. This is the key of the chapter. So in this key we were able to do the glorious glories of the knowledge itself, the most confidential knowledge, and all those things we were able to cover. That Krishna's relationship with the world, he is infinite, at the same time he is in the finite form. And then we discussed about fools and rascals, impersonalists and demigods, like that. And different types of gyanis. So we covered all of that, and then special affection for pure devotee. Which verse we covered, we'll repeat again. And these 26 to 34, we just began to discuss this, but we could not. I think we only did manage to finish till until 27 or 29. So we'll cover. This is the most important, essential portion of this chapter, 26 to 34, which we also covered today. Um, So in the previous chapter, Krishna explained about different people, and whatever they have performed. If someone becomes a devotee, then that person who is becoming a devotee has already studied Vedas. They have already studied everything, and therefore, someone who's coming to the devotional platform, anyone, even a layman who comes to the devotional platform, comes into the temple, walks through the door, that person has automatically already performed all the Vedic sacrifices or already performed austerities in the past life. Therefore, that person is actually able to reach Krishna. So, reaching Krishna, coming to Krishna is not ordinary. Um, Krishna explained in 8th chapter what are the different ways of going out of this body. Going through the dark time, going through the light time. But these two ways of going out of this body or dying, they are not relevant to the yogi or a bhakti yogi, because a devotee can be dying in any place, in any circumstance, any situation. But Krishna is in charge of the devotee, and devotee is taken care of. So, in this chapter, Krishna then begins to speak of pure bhakti. And then I have explained the different types of knowledge. In between chapters 2 and 6, Krishna is giving confidential knowledge, Guhya, and then Krishna uses the word Guhyatara between 7th and 8th chapter. And the 9th chapter, he starts to use the word Guhyatama, most confidential knowledge. And we discussed that 9th and 10th are the essence of the essence. These two chapters are the essence of the essence. As Prabhu also remembered, there are similarities between 7th and 9th chapter. There is a exactly mentioning of hearing about Krishna, importance of it, then Krishna's energies, relationship to the world, how Krishna is all pervasive, everywhere. And then demigod is also worshipped, demigod versus Krishna worship, and then impersonalists versus devotees are also mentioned in this chapter. But this chapter is depth is way deeper. So here, there we defined what is the qualification for a pure bhakti. Actual, the real question is what is the composition of pure bhakti? And we said, this is most confidential knowledge, plus vidhi, a process, and then realization. If you have knowledge but have no realization of the knowledge, it's not wisdom. And this definition is from the perspective of a sadhaka, not from the perspective of a pure devotee.
From the
Then,
perspective of who? Sorry.
from the perspective of a practicing devotee, sadhaka.
Yeah, because it's quite it's quite remarkable how you mention devotees, but that's a general term I've learned
Hmm.
because devotee is like a general word, but then you've got pure devotee, neophyte devotee, like loads of them, and that is not spoken about.
Exactly.
God,
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
God, God protects his devotees, but which ones?
All
You
of
know,
them. All of them.
and
Whether
what
they are
about
at the beginning
aspiring
stage,
devotees?
Yeah,
even
we
if they're,
say all of them in Vancha Kalpatarubhyas, that last closing prayer also we say that to protect
yes,
and take care of
Krishna,
everybody.
exactly. Krishna protects all his devotees, even if they are a neophyte or a, someone who is coming, just joined or just come to the temple. Krishna begins the process of establishing relationship with them. So, to the extent they are surrendered to the Krishna, to that extent Krishna reveals himself. But his protection is for all. His revelation, or person, to the degree he will be able to reciprocate with Krishna or see Krishna, or Krishna say, reciprocating back, saying, that is dependent on their surrender. But protection, Krishna is very clear about that. He protects all his devotees. Okay.
Yeah.
Qualification of a pure devotee, pure for qualification for pure bhakti, for shuddha bhakti, for pure devotional service. What is the qualification? And the most important word is anusuyave, non-envious. The Krishna, the reason he is giving this most confidential knowledge to Arjuna is because he is non-envious. Hmm? So this is one of the most important qualification for pure bhakti, that one, you should not be, and second, you should be like a devotee. And Prabhupada stresses again on the hearing process in Srimad Bhagavatam. If you are actually able to hear something, because hearing is an austerity, and if you are able to hear something, that means you are doing tapasya, you are doing a sacrifice, you are doing austerity. And because you're doing austerity, you will get the results of the austerity, you will get results of the sacrifice. Just as you do fasting or for ekadashis, next day on dwadashi you feel very nice, the body feels very nice, because the body has done some fasting, all the dirt from the body is going out, so the body is now feeling very good. Similarly, if you do any austerity, any tapasya, you will get the results of that tapasya. And so when you are actually hearing, when you are attending classes, when you are actually doing courses, this is your austerity, this is your tapasya, and from that tapasya you will get a benefit. So Prabhupada is stressing on the hearing process, which is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing is the first qualification, beginning process of pure bhakti. Pure bhakti means pure devotional service. So see, hearing is not just important for a newcomer, hearing is also important even for a pure devotee. Even for a pure devotee. Okay? So hearing is from the beginning till the end. And then one who is situated in most confidential of knowledge of Krishna is naturally transcendental. He therefore has no material pangs. So then Prabhupada basically, he's Krishna is speaking of this knowledge, this most confidential knowledge. What is that knowledge? It's basically of the 9 processes of devotional service, which I think we have done in another sessions. What are the 9 processes of devotional service? So I won't get into details of that. Then Krishna starts to mention, glorify this most confidential knowledge. He says, this is Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam, king of all education, king of all secrets. Pavitram midam uttamam, it's purest of all. Even though it is secret, it is not dirty secret. It's the purest of all secrets. And it's uttamam. Hearing this, it will bring you into mode of goodness. And then what will it do? It will give you direct experience of me by self realization. You'll become a self realized person. And let me tell you that it will lead to perfect following of the religion. This is the essence of religion actually. And once you do the essence of religion, what will happen? You will become susukham. You will not just become happy, you will not just become sukham, you will become susukham. Susukham means you will be very, very happy, knowing this confidential knowledge, following this confidential knowledge. And this happiness will not be temporary, it will be avyayam, inexhaustible, indestructible, like that. So he glorifies, Krishna glorifies the knowledge itself, and he mentions who cannot understand this type of knowledge, the faithless who cannot understand, um, so we have to remove this infection of karma and jnana to become a first class devotee. So faithless people, they cannot understand this most confidential knowledge. Again, we discussed that this knowledge is not eulogy, which means it's not an exaggeration. These are true set of events and which have happened, and so there is no question of metaphors or no question of eulogizing the whole incident. These are facts, and these are direct facts. And then Krishna begins with his next 10 verses. So first he glorifies the knowledge itself, and then he's glorifying, he's giving knowledge about himself, but this knowledge that he's giving about himself is his Aishwarya Gyan. Aishwarya Gyan means a knowledge. After getting that knowledge, you will develop an awe and reverence. So here, this knowledge, if you learn this knowledge, then you will develop awe and reverence for Krishna. Not necessarily love and affection, but awe and reverence. So here Krishna mentions that he is pervading entire universe in manifested, unmanifested form. He is situated in all beings, but they are not in me, like that. And then Krishna mentions about periodic destruction and creation processes. Most importantly, Krishna explains that nothing binds me, and yet, I am detached from all the material activities, as though I'm seated as neutral. And we gave an example of a judge, and judge, they have cases day in and day out, and they neutrally do their job, basically. So Krishna is also like that. He is outside this material world, and he is neutral to everything that's going on. Udasinavat is the specific word we have discussed there. And Krishna says that he is the supreme director. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetunanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. So he is the director. Just his glance is sufficient to actually cause an outcome. So he is, all of this knowledge is his knowledge of Aishwarya, knowledge of his, that will create awe and reverence in you for Krishna. And then we discussed about incarnations, avatar, and expansions with vistar, and portions, which is amsha. And we explained that there are amshas can be on both sides, and meaning an incarnation can also have a portion, and then similarly an expansion can also have a portion. And each of the portion, they also are like Krishna. And then we discussed about three Purusha incarnations: Mahavishnu or Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. And then we discussed how people understand Krishna as an ordinary human being, basically, or call him an Amsha, not as a supreme personality of Godhead. A lot of people think that, oh, Krishna is actually an incarnation of Vishnu. He's an avatar of Vishnu. So they actually don't know why Krishna is not an incarnation of Vishnu. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam emphatically clears this point, that etech amsha kalha pumsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam, that all these incarnations I have discussed, but listen to me carefully. This 20th incarnation, Krishna, he is not an incarnation. He is Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. He is the original personality of Godhead, from which all incarnations are coming. So this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Then we start to discuss about, so glories of the knowledge itself, then knowing Krishna in his Aishwarya form, or knowing Krishna, knowledge of Krishna, which will generate awe and reverence in you. And then Krishna starts to describe what are his different types of worshippers, basically. So, there are impersonalists who consider Krishna to be ordinary human beings, and then for them, all their efforts are wasted, which Vidisha Mataji were mentioning, right? Mogha Asha, Mogha Karmano, Mogha Jnana Vichetasah. Mogha means waste. Amogha means one that never goes waste. So, there is the name of the Lord. One of his names is Amogha Leela. Amogha Leela means his Leelas, which are very, very useful to the devotees, and that will have 100% effect. So, therefore, Krishna is mentioning about these kinds of people who are envious of Krishna, basically, or they are impersonist, demoniac in nature. And then, a lot of these are scholars sometimes, And we discussed why they deride Krishna because of poor fund of knowledge. These answers were given by Vijay Gaurang Prabhu, NV. So I remember that. So NV, poor fund of knowledge. Any questions so far? Any thoughts?
I do have a question, but that was related to 9.10, because does that
Okay.
actually come back in such detail about all the
Hmm.
avatars and expansions? It doesn't, does it, in 9.10? That's just something extra you're giving?
Yes, these are mentioned in purports, but these are because these are mentioned in purports, I've given you details of what these are because you will come across the subject matter again in Shrimad Bhagavatam, and there you will be confused again. And the reason I highlight this is because it's the most ununderstood topic in Krishna consciousness. And once this topic becomes clear, a lot of the things become very clear and it makes sense.
Some other things are really confusing for me as well, like all the
Hmm.
tattvas. I understand absolutely nothing about that. And people start talking to me about it, and I say, please give me a break. It's too much. But okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. That's therefore, I was just mentioning this morning that assimilation. Roshni asked this question last week, right? And I was giving her an example of sweet rice, filled with nuts. You can't have it all in one go, and so you will portion it for tomorrow, day after tomorrow, like that. So
Yeah.
spiritual studies is also very much like that. It's too much for the beginner. Too much for a beginner. And if you don't have patience, then it'll cause you more harm. So therefore, in the beginning, you have to have patience and you have to be in that mode for good 4 to 5 years. Oftentimes what happens is devotees study something and they are confident that they've gained the knowledge, and what they do is they become overconfident and they
That
start telling people
that
all
would
these things.
no, that wouldn't be me. But
No, no, I'm just saying.
I'm actually I actually do things in steps. And
Hmm.
if we suddenly jump to the second or third step without me understanding the first step, then that overwhelms me.
And that is the process which Prabhupada is strongly asking devotees to follow. Steps. That's what he says in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam in preface, that don't jump to ninth canto or 10th canto, read from the first canto. Don't jump to the 12th chapter or 15th chapter, go from the beginning, step by step. And this is exactly the same what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. He uses the word shane shane, upramed, buddhaya, dhriti, gritaya. We studied before. It is slowly, slowly, step by step with determination. And that determination is very important. So even though you're not able to understand so many, nonetheless, you're making it to the class. Nonetheless, you're still making an attempt to understand. Nonetheless, you're asking questions. That is your determination. And that determination will bring success. Not the scholarship, not the knowledge, not anything else. Just the determination and making an effort.
I I don't even care about a certificate, really. I don't.
Hmm, hmm. Because you want to know. You just want to know the subject matter.
Yeah, I want to learn more. That's why I'm living in the
Hmm.
temple. That's why, yeah,
Ah,
that's
amazing,
just me.
amazing. Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's how it should be done. Um, so yeah, we discussed, why. So I can't see you right now. I can only see my slides because I'm on one single screen today. So if you have questions and if you have raised your hand, please speak out. Otherwise, I won't know that you have raised your hand.
Okay.
Prabhuji, did you try on your screen on the top right hand side, like side by side, multi-speaker or something? Does it allow us to, does it allow you
Multi-speaker.
to see us then? Your screen as well as us?
I don't see you. That's the only problem. See if I what. So
No,
now
no,
you
no,
can.
no, not that way. Okay, no worries, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it's just something which I can't.
Yeah.
But I can do like this. I can cheat. I can bring the screen down and then see you.
No worries.
Okay. Okay, I lost my slides here. Okay, so we had some questions where Mayavadis were quoting certain verse and they were understanding certain verse in a certain way. But then how Jiva Goswami explains that, okay, Supreme Lord is not we are not Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is inside us, inside every living entity as a super soul. So we saw some extreme arguments, that have you heard this argument where what's the need to go to the temple if God is everywhere? You know, so what's the point of going to the temple? So I think you all answered that very beautifully. I remember the answers. I think Vidisha Mataji, you mentioned if God is everywhere, then why is God not in the temple? So that's a very good point.
That was Roshni Mataji.
That was Roshni Mataji? Okay,
Uh,
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So very good point. So then results described in may sometimes scare people that okay, mogha, asha, mogha karmano, that oh, everything is a failure. So then Krishna starts to say that it is not a failure for who? Krishna starts to say it is not a failure for Mahatmas. They can understand my knowledge, the most confidential knowledge. Why? So then Krishna goes and explains who is a Mahatma. And then, Mahatma is one who has taken shelter of the Lord. Mahatma is one who does Sharanagati or surrender, is free from the control of material nature. That is the qualification. Does not divert attention to anything outside Krishna, develops through association with other Mahatmas or pure devotees. So, a Mahatma or a devotee likes to take association of other devotees. And purest devotees, they are not even attracted to other features of Krishna, like the four-armed form of or his Aishwarya. So, Krishna just described his Aishwarya Gyan, but the purest of the pure devotees who are, dedicated to the Supreme Lord, they don't care about his opulences. They only care about Krishna in his personal feature, which is beautiful two-armed form, Krishna. So then they are not concerned about any demigods. If someone's a Mahatma, they are engaged in unswerving devotional service. Is that it? No. Then Krishna himself tells more qualities of a Mahatma. Satatam kirtayanto yam mam yatantascha dridavata. Always chanting my glories. Dridavrata. Very determined in his vows. Very determined. This is a very glorious quality to have. Bowing down with great devotion. Namastantasya mam bhaktya. So we discussed, people may bow down out of respect, people may bow down out of pressure. But here Krishna is not expecting pressure, Krishna is not expecting respect, Krishna is expecting love and devotion. Hmm? And then Nitya Yukta Upasa. Nitya Yukta means perpetually engaged. Upasate means worship. Upasate also means strictly follows the rules and regulations. Then Prabhupada in his purport, Prabhupada mentions how to glorify the Lord. And Prabhupada says that if you really have to glorify the Lord, then you must glorify the holy name of the Lord. You must glorify the beautiful form of the Lord. You must glorify his transcendental qualities. And you must glorify his uncommon pastimes. If you glorify these four things, then you have glorified the Lord. All four things are must or they are needed to glorify the Lord properly. And conclusion is one can perform devotional service anywhere, at any time, in any situation, and in any position. But the important point is under the guidance of an expert spiritual master. And the very, very important point is in happy mood. There is no point of you, being in angry mood or upset mood and serving Krishna because your service will not be in the mode of goodness then. So devotees, they can choose to be happy. I'm using the word choose to be happy. Happiness is not always the gift of life, right? Life can throw you in many different situations, but devotees choose to be happy because they're connected to the most happiest person in the creation, or the person who's created the creation, Krishna. So important thing is under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, a devotional service should be done, and devotional service should be done in a happy mood. No cribbing, no crying, no swearing, no pointing fingers, no backbiting, nothing. Just be in a good mood, be positive, and try to execute devotional. Even though there are problems in life, even though there are situations in life, but still, when you are doing service to the Lord, try to be positive, and then this will help us to become a Mahatma. Hmm? This was a definition of Mahatma. This is our family business. What is our family business? To glorify the Lord. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Kirtayanto means to always glorify the Lord. Then we started to discuss about different types of gyanis, and in the three different categories, we have ekatvena, which means thinking, but they worship me in oneness, thinking themselves as God. So one starts to think that, so Krishna has already described the types of people who come to him. Now, he's described Gyanis who come to him, and he appreciates Gyanis more than the remaining three category. He said they are very dear to me, but inside the Gyanis also there are these three categories. So four in the very beginning in seventh chapter, and then of those four, Gyani is one such category, and there are three types of these Gyanis. Of these three types of Gyanis, one is thinking of himself to be God. Still they're doing spiritual practices, but they have come to conclusion that they are themselves God. So this is not a very good category. Then there is others who start to worship God in many different forms, like demigods. This is also not so very intelligent category. And lastly, Vishwatomukham, like a universal form of the Lord. This is also a category, but it's also not the topmost category. So, now
This
Krishna,
is.
yes.
I'm sorry, Prabhu, to disturb you again. The three types. Gyani means a wise man. No.
Yes,
Yes. So initially we learned that the wise man was the dearest to the Lord, but now it
yes.
seems that these wise men are going back to things that are not dear to the Lord. So that's confusing.
No, so I'll explain what it is. So, of the many types of people, anyone who comes to Krishna is great. Okay. So, what are the four types of people who come to Krishna? One who wants money or wealth, one who is in distress, one who
Yeah.
is inquisitive, and the fourth
Yeah.
category is one who is Jnani. Jnani is one who actually wants to know God.
Yes.
So, Krishna is saying that of these four categories, one who is coming to me in distress, for money, for inquisitiveness, once their problem is solved, they will be okay. And because they came to Krishna, so they are great personalities. But of these greats, the Jnani is really dear to me. Why? Because of Jnani is one such category which has a chance, which has a pathway to come to full realization of Krishna, meaning becoming a pure devotee. The other categories, they are also good, but they are good if they come to a level of pure devotional service. And Jnani is a path which has an opportunity to come to pure devotional service. Therefore, Krishna said that Jnanis are more dear to me, because actually Krishna is referring to a category of Jnanis which are pure devotees, who have transcended Gyan. But if you come inside Jnani, there are further categories, further three categories Krishna is mentioning here. Now, Krishna is not criticizing these three categories. Krishna is saying these are dear to me because they are trying to come to me constantly. But their understanding of coming to me is slightly not perfect. So, of the people who are trying to become perfected, trying to know me, these are the different levels. One is Ekatvena, meaning they are starting to see Krishna in the temple, but they think that, okay, this Krishna in front of me, I am also like him actually, because in him is the same soul as the soul in me. So my soul, his soul is the same soul. They start to think like that. So they
Okay.
appreciate Krishna, but they appreciate Krishna in a very incomplete way.
They think themselves as God, as stated here.
Yes, they think themselves as God. So deity in the temple is very same to them as themselves. And I know such people already, like in real life.
Yeah. In India, there's many of them.
There are many. They will visit temple and they say, I am also God. But they still like coming to the temple. They still like Krishna. They still like, so because they have come to Krishna like that. Then Prithaktvena means, okay, they appreciate, they accept the fact that there is something higher to them, and so they are not the whole and soul, but they would like to see that same supreme in different forms, and so they are worshippers of demigods,
Okay.
because they agree that someone is higher to them, and then they want to fulfill their material desires after having that knowledge, so they go to the demigods basically. And then the third form is people who accept that there is something higher to them, and they want to experience that higher personality through nature. So therefore there is this universal form of the Lord. So now Krishna starts to explain these two categories, Prithaktvena and Vishwatomukam, which is
And
one
there's
who
a
is,
fourth. There's a fourth category as well, no? That's the one
Correct.
that's the dearest, or not?
Yes, 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 yes. Correct.
Okay. So
You're right.
now my understanding of this is that Gyani's a wise man, but yeah, now they've got a name. But we spoke about this in previous verses, I'm sure, or previous chapters, didn't we?
Not in
Demigod
previous
worshippers?
chapters.
No, but what about
Yes,
demigod
we
worship?
yes, we discussed this in seventh chapter, demigod worshippers. We discussed about them, and ninth chapter repeats the same topic again.
So basically, those in chapter 7 are also Gyanis, but they're just demigod worshippers.
They're just demigod worshippers. So Gyanis may be of kinds, different kinds, right? So
Yeah.
there could be people not Gyanis, but they are still demigod worshippers, only out of the need for fulfillment of desires. But then there
Ah,
are
okay.
Gyanis who will be saying, "Oh no, I understand and accept the fact that there is someone higher to me, and I really want to understand that higher, and I want to understand that higher in different forms." So they will worship demigods like Ganesha, Chandra, Indra, Varuna, Lord Shiva, Brahma, or whoever. And sometimes they even mix the demigods. When I say mix the demigods, it means they say they consider all of them to be the same person. So they'll say,
Okay.
Indra is the same as Ganesha, Ganesha is the same as Shiva, like that. So that is another
Okay.
category within them. But some of them are purists. Like I am the worshipper of Ganesha. Just like, they will say, I am the worshipper of Ganesha. I am the worshipper of Shiva. I am the worshipper of someone, Surya,
Okay.
sun
Okay. I
god.
think I think I have more understanding now. Thank you.
Hmm. So, so these categories Krishna is now mentioning about these Gyanis. And so then Krishna explains worshipping him in universal form. So this category Krishna is explaining first. He begins with explaining Yagya, because yagya was the in the Vedic times, yagya was the most auspicious way of actually worshipping the Lord, by doing a fire sacrifice. And Krishna is explaining that actually I am all of the elements of the fire sacrifice. Therefore, if someone is directly worshipping Krishna, then they are already getting the benefit of doing the yagya, so therefore we came to this conclusion: those who are engaged in rendering devotional service unto Krishna are to be understood to have performed all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas, because actually all sacrifices are indirectly worshipping Krishna. But someone who is actually directly worshipping Krishna, that means he's already getting the results of all the Vedic sacrifices. That's why this statement is true, because Krishna, he is explaining that he is actually the whole sacrifice. And this is how people worship Krishna in universal form. Then Krishna goes and mentions, what his universal form includes. Like he is actually the father, he is actually the mother, he is actually the great grandfather, father, dhata, support. People are looking for support. He is the sustainer. He is actually the shelter, sharanam. He is suhrit. He is actually the most intimate friend. Hmm? Pavitram, he is the purifier. He can purify anyone. We discuss about Mother Ahilya. And then he's actually all the Vedas. He is to be known from the Vedas. He is also the goal of human life. And then we started to discuss about demigod worship. So we discussed universal form, and now we are going to discuss about the demigod worship. So there Krishna explains that demigod worshippers actually, they have done very pious activities, so they attain heaven because they have this accumulation of punya, bank balance of punya. So they go to heaven. But the problem is, as soon as this bank balance is spent, as soon as they have spent the last money in this last gambling match or last pint, they fall back to the material world, to the earth. Shinna punya martya lokam vishanti. So this is an important line that one should remember. Shinna punya. Shin means to finish. Punya means the good credits. When your good credits are shin, when they are finished, then martya loka. Martya means mrityu lok, which means this earthly planets. These are called mrityu loks. Mrityu means death, and this is called mrityu lok, means the places where death happens, or we have to take other bodies, another body. So, so when their punya good credits finish, they come back to this place where everyone has to take and accept death. And we explained this cycle of higher earthly planets and higher planets. Basically, this is the cycle they are stuck in. So Prabhupada is saying devotional service begins with chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, and side by side trying to understand Krishna in truth. Chanting is good, and it's actually fully sufficient in itself, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But still, actually, if you just keep chanting and not try to understand Krishna, that is also not good. So Prabhupada is recommending that, okay, chant, and side by side try to read scriptures, try to read all of these books, try to take the courses, try to learn something about Krishna. And then here Krishna tells, so from this verse onwards, the pure bhakti begins. So see, here Krishna is explaining about demigods, but immediately in his mind Krishna is saying, okay, but my pure devotees are not like this. How are my pure devotees? Here Krishna explains how are his pure devotees. They are ananyas chintayanto, without deviation. Ananya, continuous, they are worshipping Krishna. But those who worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on me, desiring my association, to them I supply what they lack and I preserve what they have. And here we discuss the pastime of a Brahmana who was striking off this last line, Yoga Kshemam Vahami Aham. There Krishna says, Vahami Aham means I personally take responsibility and the burden of their maintenance, both the spiritual and material welfare. Hmm? For pure devotees, Krishna is willing to personally take the care of the devotee. And here we discuss this pastime of a Brahman devotee, pure devotee of the Lord, who actually struck off this last line of the shloka, and how two boys came to his house and they had scratched backs, bleeding backs. And later on, when Brahmana's wife chastised this Brahmana that as to how he can be so heartless and beat his disciples so badly, the Brahmana asked his wife the descriptions of the two boys, and she said one was black with a flute, and another was as white as milk. So then Brahmana really understood, and when he had gone back, he realized that he had scratched the last line of the shloka. So therefore, Krishna's back was scratched and was bleeding. So actually, Krishna means that he actually will personally take care of his devotees, pure devotees, those who are his Ananya Bhakta, those who are his pure devotees. So here in the section of demigods and explaining about demigod worship, Krishna has explained about his pure devotee, that this is the nature of pure devotee as opposed to a demigod worshipper. And then he goes on to explain that demigods are worshipping, but they're just doing a vidhi, which is without any proper way. It's not a proper way. They are unintelligent because they don't know they are offering the water to the root. Instead of offering the water to the roots, they are offering the water to the leaf. So therefore, they are unintelligent. And next, they are illegally trying to bribe the government representatives. If you try to bribe a government representative without actually following the rules of the government, that is basically not proper, and therefore that is called avidhi. Therefore,
What
Krishna
does
is
that
calling
mean?
it
Aviti? Is there a translated word for that?
yeah. Vidhi means process. Avidhi means without proper process.
Okay, it's the incorrect way,
Incorrect way.
not following the rules of the scriptures or something like
Ex-
this.
exactly.
And can we find this word in 923, transliterated or
Yes.
not?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can.
You see here in green, avidhi purvakam.
Oh yeah.
They do so in a wrong way.
So aviti purvakam means wrong way.
The way means purvakam.
Okay.
Avidhi means without process. Vidhi means process. Avidhi means without proper process. Therefore, it's been translated as wrong.
Understood. Thank you.
So then, verdict is Krishna does not approve of the unnecessary worship of the demigods. He just doesn't approve that. He says instead, directly worship me.
I
So
read
he,
about that. If he doesn't approve, what does it mean? Does that mean I know that they won't? Their benefits are temporary. We've spoken about that in chapter
hmm. 7.
in a previous chapter. So I know
Correct.
that their benefits are temporary. But what does it mean when the Lord says He doesn't approve?
it, it it means that they will basically not get permanent results from their worship. See, you do an austerity to get something, but what if that what you get is only temporary? It's a cheating business, right?
So those are the consequences, only those consequences.
Those are
Okay.
consequences. Therefore, he
Okay,
doesn't
that's
approve because they will not be able to get anything permanent.
okay.
And
So it's
he
their loss. It's their loss because it's their choice.
it's their choice, exactly.
Okay, but it's not that they're going to get punished because the Lord doesn't approve.
Exactly. He doesn't approve. That doesn't mean he is going to punish them. It simply means that he doesn't approve it, meaning it's not the proper way, it's not the right way. Krishna is saying that, see, there are different levels, right? So they are still following the demigod, they are still worshipping the demigods, and here he says that I am the only enjoyer and the master of all sacrifices, and also the giver of all the results through the demigods. In this verse that I am highlighting, therefore, who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. So, what he is saying is that if you are continuing to worship demigods and you are not coming to the platform where you are actually becoming selfless in worshipping the demigods, you are only in this platform of getting something for the demigods, you will fall down. But if you start to worship the demigods selflessly, after a period of time, you will start to worship any demigod selflessly. This is a very natural outcome. At that stage, the demigods they progress you higher.
And they
They
could come to
basic
Krishna.
So that they can come to Krishna, because demigod themselves are worshipping Krishna. See, you are always asking something from demigod, right? And demigod is supposed to give you something as per your austerities. If they have you have fulfilled the conditions of austerity, they will give you something. So after you have done this repeatedly for many times, then you start loving a person, because loving the demigod, because now you have developed relationship with that demigod. Then you are used to loving that demigod out of affection. So what happens in affection? The demigod is willing to give you something, but you don't want anything from the demigod. So what will demigod give? Demigod will give something which is most dear to them, or most precious to them. And what is most precious to them? The most
Krishna.
precious to Yes, exactly. So most precious to them is their own worshipable deity, or their own worshipable lord. So they then give you their own worshipable lord, which is Krishna. So this is a
Okay.
natural sequence of steps. But if a person doesn't become selfless, doesn't but they continue to worship the demigod only for material purposes, what happens is matter pulls you down, it doesn't elevate you. Selfishness pulls you down, it doesn't makes you advanced, even in material life. So
Okay.
essentially,
Thank
therefore,
you.
Krishna is mentioning here, therefore, who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. They will come
Uh,
down.
Okay. And I understand now what you mean by does not approve. I'm really sorry that I keep
No, no, this is
jumping in.
perfect. This is perfect. Please do jump in. This is good. Okay, so then Krishna then quickly explains that, you see, the worshippers of demigods will go to their different destinations wherever the demigod sites, basically, and those who take worship me, they will come back to me. And Krishna is permanent, he is there is no rebirth, so they go back to spiritual world. So this is the difference between demigod worshippers and devotees, essentially. So Krishna established that he is the only enjoyer of all sacrifice. Now Krishna explains what types of offerings he desires. Krishna just said, he is the only enjoyer of sacrifice. Okay, if you are the enjoyer, then tell me, what do you enjoy? Tell me, what do you exactly like? So now Krishna is going to, and this section of Bhagavad Gita is the most relishable section from 26th verse onwards. And this is a section of pure devotional service, pure for pure devotees. So this is essence of the essence of the essence is bhakti is simple. Krishna accepts your offering if offered with devotion. So in this verse, patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadham bhaktya uparitam vashnami prayata. In this verse, Krishna is using bhakti word twice. Okay, so that means Krishna is only accepting your love and affection, because actually Krishna is the owner of the fruit, the flower, the leaf. The grammar also used this patram, pushpam, phalam. It's not patrani, pushpani, phalani, which means he is only asking one of them, meaning only one in quantity. So that means that you don't have to buy like 5 dozen bananas or 5 dozen guavas or 5 dozen something to please Krishna. Krishna is pleased even if you take one leaf, and leaf is naturally available. So, leaf is not so exotic thing. So here Krishna is explaining that actually you can anyone can worship Krishna, because the items of worship are so broadly available in the nature that anyone can actually get these very easily. Even if they are a pauper, they can easily get some water, they can easily get some leaf and worship Krishna. Hmm? And then important thing is pure bhakti means doing things, these offerings, without any motivations. Krishna is therefore establishing in this verse that actually bhakti is the only means to pleasing the Lord, or getting connected with the Supreme Lord. Sorry. Krishna accepts your love and eats means he is personal and he's not impersonal. To eat you have to have a mouth, right? You can't be like a light, because I'm offering you something specific, something that has a form. So you have to have a form to accept it. So Krishna proves that he is personal. So this verse hurts Mayavadis very much because devotees can refer to this verse and defeat them.
He
Um,
goes further. He goes further than that. I've heard. Krishna might have a mouth, but he might not use it to eat. He can do anything. So he might
yes,
eat through his skin or his ears or whatever. But that would
yes.
maybe go too far for the Mayavadis.
Yeah, yeah. Krishna, because each sense of Krishna can function of every other sense, basically. And we have seen this even in humans, right? When we actually lose the eyesight, completely blind, then actually we see through our ears. And this is experimentation done some time ago, that people who are completely blind, even without their eyes, they can do things almost perfectly. And their sense of hearing becomes very, very refined, very, very sharp, because one sense has closed down, the other sense is now burdened. So other sense becomes very, very refined. So we have seen this even in the medical sense. Um, then we are saying that what are the different types of bhakti. There are, we said that the topmost bhakti or purest bhakti is defined by these three verses, where Krishna is saying that that you are worshipping my personal form, you are worshipping me ananya manaso, ananyas chintayanto, you are remembering me continuously, you are worshipping me with continuously with your mind. And in Patram Pushpam also, Krishna is asking your devotion and your love. So this is actually topmost bhakti. But what about someone who is actually not able to do this topmost bhakti? What about them? Someone like me, when you can't do continuously remember Krishna, continuously worship Krishna, continuously, or offer something to Krishna with love and devotion. Then Krishna says next verse, he says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, offer, give away in sacrifice, whatever austerities you perform, O son of Kunti, do that as an offering to me. So you are saying that Krishna, I can't do what you are saying, asking me to do. Then Krishna is saying, okay, you can't do what I'm asking you to do. Whatever you are doing, you offer that to me. You give that to me. It's like that. I'm telling you that I like gulab jamuns, but you are saying, Krishna, I don't have gulab jamun. Then you say, Krishna, I have this halwa at my house. Krishna says, okay, you give me your halwa, like that. So Krishna is willing to. So this is not the topmost bhakti, because here the desire of Krishna is not first. Here your desires are first. So from this level, but this level is still very high, because this is higher than karma yoga. This is higher than nishkam karma yoga also, because here you are not just not expecting results of your karma. Nishkam karma yoga means the yoga where you don't expect any results from your actions. So here you're not only expecting any results of your actions, but positively you are offering all the results of your actions to Krishna. So this is even higher than Nishkam Karma Yoga. And it's higher than Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Jnana Mishra Bhakti means bhakti which is performed in the mixed mode of knowledge. So there you have a knowledge, oh no, Krishna is the supreme, and you're trying to get more knowledge about God, but more than God, you're interested in his knowledge, right? But here you are interested in knowledge of God, but you have abundant appreciation of the Lord. Like you really understand Lord is a person, and you really understand. So this level is even higher than that, because here You've already understand Krishna is everything. Now you have to just worship him, love him, but you are somehow not able to do it. It's like a situation where you have accepted everything mentally, understand everything mentally, but when it comes to actually doing it, you are failing there because of conditioning, because you have been in this material for a very long time. So that is the stage. And but if you continue to do this stage, whatever you're getting in life, whatever food you're eating, whatever new clothes you're buying, whatever things, austerities, tapasya you're doing, you just tell Krishna, Krishna, I offer this to you. Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Oh Vasudev, whatever is this, I'm offering this to you. That is what the meaning of this verse is. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, that I'm offering this thing to you. So whatever you do, it is, so by doing this continuously over a long period of time, you will become a sannyasi. Because whatever will come to you, you will first say, okay, this is not for me, this is for Krishna. Immediately you will offer it to Krishna, and this way you will become detached from everything. So you'll become a sannyasi. Therefore, this specific yoga is called yukta yoga. Sannyasa yukta yoga it is called.
I have a question.
Yes,
It
go ahead.
was the previous slide, actually. I'm sorry about that, but it says there dose action. It was, I think, it was something that I just saw on the screen before you changed the slides.
Oh, okay. So it must be this slide.
Yeah, because it had something there. Dose action. I don't understand that sentence. It was at the bottom on the right-hand side. Next line, I think. No, next one. Yeah, this one. Dose action, then offers them. Oh, does action.
Sorry,
Okay.
it's wrong. It's wrong spelling. Apologies.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Does
Sorry about
action
that.
then offers them to the Lord. So basically, in this verse, you are more interested in what you are doing, and after you have done it, you say, "Okay, Krishna, I'm offering it to you," as opposed to proactively thinking that, "Okay, Krishna, what do you like? I'll do only what you like,"
No, I was confused because of the words, because
because
of
of
the
the
spelling.
word
Sorry.
spelling
Yeah, yeah.
mistake. My apologies. Dose, yeah. As opposed to no, yeah, okay. So, so what is the result of following this yad karoshi yad ashnashi, meaning offering everything to Krishna? You'll become freed from the bondage. So, you'll become free from the results of your work because you're offering the results back to Krishna. So, whether you do pious activity or sinful activity, you have offered the result to Krishna, and therefore you will be free. You will become free from the results of actions and reactions, and your mind will become fixed on Krishna, because every day, every single moment, whatever you are doing, you are offering it to Krishna. So naturally you will start thinking of Krishna, and naturally you will become a sannyasi. Sannyasi means virakta, which means giving things, not accepting things, giving it to the Lord. So therefore this yoga is called sannyasa yoga yuktatma. Thus you become liberated and you come to me. And this is the principle of Yukta Vairagya, where you clear the mirror of the mind by gradually making progress to complete surrender. Because whatever thing comes to you in this world, so you have iPhone 16, iPhone 17, whatever you get, you are saying, this is not for me, this is in service of Krishna. So you accept things, you don't reject things, you are accepting material things, and you engaging those material things in service of Krishna, not for yourself. You offer it to Krishna immediately. So we finished till that verse last week, and today we'll begin from here. Equality and speciality and not partiality. This verse, is so controversial, my God. You have heard devotees, they say that, okay, is Krishna partial or Krishna impartial? Is God partial or is God impartial? Have heard this before?
It depends what he means by partial, or what you mean by partial.
Partial means helping someone or reciprocating with someone, not reciprocating with others. Like in material sense, they will complain, oh, look at my uncle, he's got such a nice palace and he's got 4 cars, and and look, I have nothing. I'm struggling to live. God is so partial. He's given so much to them, he's not given anything to me.
Yes, I have heard that other saying, but I didn't have the courage to tell them what was your previous karma. I just only said like sorry, because everything is eligibility, eligibility. I'm now uh, calling him, calling him, calling him. So going forward my life.
Hmm.
be a
Hmm.
little better. But I don't, and he is very kind, because the thing is, the extent of sin we do, he doesn't put us back to you are grounded in that level.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Then we would be like, God knows, like how many years we will never know him then. So
Exactly.
I cannot say that to others, like, okay, it's fine, but just pray to him so that you're able to handle it, because he gives us a way. You'll never perish. There is an understanding, like he gives pain to that much, to the level you can handle it,
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
feel.
Hmm.
And he is not there to punish me,
And
basically.
I'll tell you one level of higher understanding is he will give you pain till the point where you just feel I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Okay? Small correction there. You will just
Yeah.
about feel Krishna, I can't take this. Help me.
Yeah, I
Help
can,
me.
in a very mundane, in a very material way, in a very foolish way, I can say that. So
Yeah.
I had COVID twice. So
Oh, okay.
the first COVID, I I think I did like recover, but I had to come back to UK. I was traveling from
Hmm.
Kolkata to London, and I
Hmm.
said him, be there with me. I don't know how I will travel.
Hmm.
Just
Hmm. Hmm.
just carry me along, I said,
Hmm.
that point of time. But when I had the second COVID second time, I felt like, okay, I'm able to handle it better. So that is how the mind changed, and said like,
Hmm.
I think Krishna, you're helping me because I'm able to handle it better this time.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
maybe, so I could see a shift or change in mind. Um, but you cannot say this to others when people are bickering and thinking like God is your reason for suffering. Their source of thought is so
Hmm.
different. Wh-
Yes.
When he is not, it's very hard to explain them that, you know?
Hmm. 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 Yeah, because they don't understand karma, they don't understand what they have done in their previous life, and then they can't see what they have done in the previous life. So how will they accept that they have done something bad in their past life? So karma is coming to them
Even now
because
also, right? When you are saying that God is sitting there and penalizing them, yes, every other thing, he doesn't want any
yeah.
of his creation to suffer.
Yeah, and this is another conception is because if someone's from the Western conception, they think that God is there monitoring them and observing them and taking note of all their bad things, and then
Mm.
is going to punish them. But actually, Bhagavad Gita says that Krishna is aloof from all of this.
Yeah.
So Krishna outsources this to Maya, to material energy or to material nature, Durga Devi.
Mm.
Durga Devi is keeping you in check basically for all your things that you're doing, good and bad. Krishna, as a super soul, he's seated in the heart and he's observing, and he's not blocking you from doing anything. He's the facilitator, he's the most intimate friend, he's the facilitator. But in the process of doing something, you have incurred karma, you have incurred bank balance, you're doing a job, of course, you will get a salary, or you have
Mm.
not worked hard, you will not get promotion. So there is some positive, some negative actions, and every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So whatever actions they are doing, they will get some reactions. There will be a good reaction or a bad reaction. So they are building up their bank balance of good and bad reactions. So they are going to come back to him as a bad reaction or as a good reaction. So essentially they can't take those things, and because they can't take those things, they have issues when you explain them. So Krishna is not there in any of these things. Krishna is aloof from them.
Yeah. And
And
I think
Krishna
suffering helps you in a different way. I'm not saying like people has to suffer, but
hmm, hmm,
somewhere I feel like, okay, one down. Whenever physical illness or any other challenges, I feel, okay, so maybe a bit of karma is now getting diluted. Okay. Like
yes.
it
Yeah,
gives
yeah,
me
yeah.
that kind of feeling now, thankfully.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Those who fully surrender unto Krishna, Krishna takes bag of all their karma and he burns them. This Krishna promises in the last verse of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, nobody loves you more than me.
No,
Like I think it was in chapter 18 somewhere.
chapter 18th, last verse.
Okay.
So I think last or second last, I think second last or third last maybe. But in there, Krishna says that that's the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, basically. Ma shuchaha. He says, do not fear. Krishna says, do not fear. Anyways, that will come to that last verse, but that is the last verse. Krishna says, I'll take the bag of your karma. And so that does that mean that devotees are never unhappy? Devotees don't undergo suffering? No, that's not the case. What Krishna does is Krishna also puts devotees through suffering. And sometimes he puts devotees through suffering for their own learning, for their own benefit. Because what Krishna wants is devotees to come back to spiritual world ASAP. But the gap is that we have to evolve. If you have to go to, say, for example, any country, then you have to be mindful of those countries' regulations, customs. So you have to learn something about that country. Similarly, if you have to go to spiritual world, you have to learn something about the spiritual world. You should be free from envy. You should be free from, unwanted desires and all those things. So Krishna wants you to be practiced, and if you want to be practiced and learning those qualities, then you have to learn them somewhere. And so you learn them here in the material world when you start practicing devotional life. So that's why Krishna is not partial. Krishna is actually equal to everyone, but anyone who worships him, serves him, uh, any service done to him, Krishna says that person is a friend to me and I'm also a friend to him. Very, very natural, right? It's natural, right? Someone is friendly to you, then you are also a friend to the person. Someone is inimical to you, then at least you will say, okay, I don't want to be inimical, but uh, we may not be friends, but I don't want to be your enemy. So Krishna is like that. Krishna will still be equal even to his enemies. That's why Krishna is so famous. And for devotees, he's Bhakta Vatsal. For pure devotees, he's Bhavagrahi Janardhan. For every thought, emotion they have, Krishna reciprocates and responds. So therefore,
Okay.
what people... Yes, Prabhu, you have a question?
Well, yeah, equality and speciality, not
Hmm.
partiality. That's what we're discussing, yeah? So
That's right.
in what you just said was something like Krishna treats everyone equally. He won't be partial towards them. He won't give one better treatment than the other unless it's a devotee. He treats them a little bit better than others. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So that's what he means with equality and speciality, not partiality. So why does he
Yes.
have speciality in there?
Speciality is because is every person who is friend to Krishna, Krishna is also a friend to them. That is the special behavior of Krishna towards his friends.
Okay.
Imagine you made friends with a billionaire, right? And so take for example, I'm a pauper and I made friends with billionaire. So if I give a gift to a billionaire, like say some cake or something, that's what people were doing with Apple, right? Devotees were bringing apple pies and gifting it to George Harrison's company
Okay.
every weekend or something. They were coming and gifting to George Harrison these apple pies. So, but if imagine billionaire gifting you back. So George Harrison gifted whole of manor to devotees. So
For
for
£1.
apple pie, so
For
it's difference, right? So
yeah.
Krishna, when he reciprocates and does his friendship, then then that is special. So he's special to his devotees, to his friends. So therefore,
Okay.
he is equal to everyone, but he is special to his friends and he's non-partial. I think
Thank
I
you.
might have to go out of this room. So bear with me for one moment. I'll be with you. My VIP experience is now finished, and mid-flight I've been thrown out. So just hang on. It's okay. Go to the next room. I will take my charger. Sit here.
Vidisha Mataji, your English is really good for a Bengali.
Oh, I was brought up in Catholic school, then Protestant school. I didn't study my
It's
mother
okay. It's
tongue.
okay.
Oh, really? Do you don't speak Bengali or you do?
I do. Only my dad and my brother is there, and of course my husband. I do talk with them, but I cannot write Bengali because I didn't study. I only
Ah,
studied 1 year in class
I
8.
see.
That's why. But I cannot write properly, or if there's a big words and shlokas in Bengali, I don't. So my shloka books, and initially those were in Hindi and English. Still now,
I see.
yeah.
I understand.
Hmm.
My father was Bengali.
Oh.
My surname is
Okay.
also Bengali.
All right. Sorry for the disturbance.
Prabhuji,
Um,
you're in Manor
yes.
Temple?
No, I'm in Soho Temple today.
Oh,
I
oh,
had
if I knew, I could have gone there. Take the class face to face. Oh,
yes, we used to do Bhakti Shastri face to face. I prefer it face to face, but this year we've done it online. I don't know,
yeah.
but it's best done face to face.
Hmm.
So last year we did face to face. There were six, seven students who used to come in the temple, and there were 7, 8 online.
Mm,
But this year we have gone full online.
yeah.
So yeah, this morning I was here for the class, so I didn't had enough time to go back home and then start this session in time. So whenever I come to the temple early in the morning, then and it's Sunday, then I stay back in the temple. And this way I can also get Mahaprasad. What else can I ask for? Um, so we're discussing this Krishna's equality and speciality, that how he's special to devotees, and those devotees specifically who are doing some seva. You know, anyone who is doing seva to Krishna, maybe they don't know Krishna, maybe though they don't understand, but anyone who is even a layman who is just doing some service. In Prabhupada's time, there was one person. Prabhupada was giving class in matchless gifts, like a front storefront it was. And some like a street guy came and he brought toilet tissue, middle of a class while Prabhupada was giving a talk. And he was like, like shaky and movie. His dress was not so good, smelly. And he just got in wobbling. He went while Prabhupada was giving him right in the middle of the class through the people. He went to the toilet and he put the tissue paper there. And while coming out, he showed to Prabhupada, I just put tissue paper. And then he went back out of the door. And Prabhupada was saying, this is called devotional service. That classic bum or this street guy, he had done some devotional service. So Krishna becomes favorable for any service someone does. Even mentioning the word Krishna is a devotional service. So Krishna is very favorable to devotees, and Krishna becomes very favorable to devotional service. So devotees get specific attention. Everyone is God's children, but devotees have consciousness of acting like one. So we can say, oh, but everyone is God's child. So what is special about him or her? Okay, everyone is a God's child, but you are remembering God. So you are acting in that consciousness of being a child of God. So Krishna is especially bent towards those people who are acting in consciousness of God. Okay, and then Krishna excuses and purifies an imperfect devotee. So this is one of the um, difficult verses to understand, but I'll need your attention and patience here for this verse. The verse goes like this: Api chet sudhuracharo bhajante mamananyabhak sadhur eva samantavya samyak vyavastito hi sa क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वत शांतिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि नामे भक्त प्रणश्यति. So this verse has two complete contrasts in these two verses. In if you just read the last line, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakti pranashati, you can see that.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm? So here Krishna is saying, O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So for a devotee, this is such a solace, such a shelter for a devotee, such peace-giving line for a devotee. That Kaunteya Pratijani, O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish. So this is so much protection, shelter, and affection from Krishna that he guarantees that he will always protect his devotees. But yet, if you read verse upper six lines, then there is a question sometimes in people's heart. And in these verses, Krishna is saying that even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service to please me, I consider him my saintly devotee because he is properly fixed in his determination on me. He quickly becomes righteous, devoid of contamination, and attains lasting peace. So every time we do this, we get a question. Oh, Prabhu, what do you mean that someone who has committed most abominable action? So what if someone has committed the most abominable action, you know, but he is a devotee, he's engaged, but while he is engaged as a devotee, he's still committing, abominable actions. What do we do? You have come across this situation?
I can imagine a situation.
Hmm.
A devotee killed somebody, for example.
Yeah, exactly. This is abominable. So in essence, what we are saying here, what Krishna is explaining here is, look, they may have, or they may are committing some abominable action because of their conditioning, or because of the circumstance or situation, or because of, whatever lesson I have to teach them. But we, as other devotees, if we can see and if we can perceive that nobody, this person is still dedicated to the Krishna, still loving Krishna, still dedicated to Krishna, then we, as other people, can appreciate the fact that, okay, because he's still connected with Krishna, because he's still doing some devotional service, this person, I cannot criticize this person. I should consider this person a saintly person, because right now, because of the situation, because of the circumstance, because of the conditioning, he is undergoing some purification. He is possibly committing something abominable. He is undergoing some difficult time. So I should not unnecessarily criticize him or her, because this person is going to be actually becoming a sadhu soon. Because why he's going to become a sadhu? Because he is connected with Krishna. Krishna will rectify him. Krishna will show him the right way. So we as devotees should not unnecessarily criticize um, people who are undergoing difficulties in their devotional life or difficulties in their life generally. Hmm? Now, this is very different to keeping quiet when something very wrong is happening. So, if some devotee is committing very bad things, say, for example, child sexual abuse, say, for example, other kinds of abuse, then you should, and it's in front of your eyes, it's glaring, then one should not say, oh, um, we should not criticize. Okay, no, that doesn't mean, not criticizing doesn't mean absolving yourself of the responsibilities. So, if something's happening in front of your eyes, then you are supposed to speak to that person. And if you can't speak to that person directly, then you should speak to an authority and ask them and understand from them what is the situation. How should we deal with this situation? What is the right way to approach a situation? Someone who is a very senior devotee, say for example a sannyasi, so if they're doing something wrong, then we are not in a position to criticize them. And also we should not just in an open go and say wrong things about people who are practicing devotional life sincerely. Hmm? But if we are seeing them, then we should escalate it, meaning we should tell authorities, we should tell people, who are in charge in the temple, specifically temple presidents. We can also say to some senior devotees like that. So this is a fine line and a fine balance of not criticizing, at the same time not be blindfolded, and not be like a silent spectator if something is happening to you yourself. You can always escalate it to the authorities and to the channels that's always there in the temples, always there in the general world. Does this make sense? Any questions, any thoughts?
No, I'm
Okay,
fine.
okay, wonderful, wonderful. So even if someone sometimes fluctuates from devotional service here and there, but actually on a day-to-day basis they are connected with Krishna, then you can rest assured Krishna will rectify them in a due course of time. Krishna has many wonderful and mysterious ways of rectifying his devotees, and because Krishna is more interested in bringing them back home, back to Godhead, and so it is in Krishna's interest to rectify them, and Krishna will bring them back to him. But in the meantime, we have to be patient. We have to go through the journey of life and not judge those people, not judge those devotees. Mm. So there are different types of mistakes that can happen. Accidental mistakes. Someone might do an accidental mistake. Um, Sometimes there is repentance after they do mistakes, accidentally. But then there are repeated mistakes. So Krishna takes care of both. Krishna's attachment to his devotee is his very nature. That attachment does not decrease even if devotee commits wrong. For Krishna makes him come to the highest standard. But taking advantage of Krishna's kindness, a devotee shouldn't intentionally commit mistakes. Okay, someone's committing mistakes intentionally. There is when we are chanting the holy names of the Lord, then we committing committing sins on the strength of the holy names of the Lord. So in one hand we are chanting the holy names of the Lord, on the other side we are committing sinful activities. So that we have to avoid. And Krishna's devotee never perishes. Basically, this is what Krishna says. So someone who is repeatedly intentionally committing mistakes, Krishna will rectify even them too, because it is Krishna's guarantee that my devotee will never perish. This is such a big shelter, because in the material world, if there is a problem, people divorce. If there is a problem, they go to jail. People throw you out from their lives, basically. But what Krishna is saying, that once you have come in my circle, once you have come in my life, there is no way I'm letting you off the hook. That is Krishna's guarantee. Then in these verses, Krishna is explaining that anyone can attain him. Even the sinful birth can also attain Krishna. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter of me, though they may be of lower or sinful birth. So lower birth or sinful birth. And here Krishna uses the word women, merchants, and workers. Everyone can attain supreme destiny. So every time we read this verse, there is an immediate question. If there is a feminist section of society, then they will basically start to raise their voices, right? Why is the word women used here? What do you mean women are lower? What do you mean women are not equal to men? Correct? This question comes to your mind?
You can imagine it coming to women's minds. Yeah, some
Yes,
some of
yes,
them.
yeah. So Krishna in general, see, there is there is no wrong in saying that I am a man or I am a woman. So you have to say things on the face value. So Krishna is not denigrating women in general. In fact, the best of the devotees of Krishna are gopis, okay, who are all women. But what Krishna is saying, that a soul, when the soul takes a woman's body, then the need of a woman's body is a very different to man's body. A man can do austerity and tapasya more better than a woman, like the actual harsh austerities. I mean, not in terms of the Ekadashis, but if there is a very harsh austerity, then a man's body is better suited. So therefore, women's body has not, in that sense, has been considered lower because their material needs are higher, their material needs are higher. But when a person is becoming a devotee, on the on material platform, there is a difference. You can't say that ant is same as an elephant, because materially the body of an ant is different to the body of an elephant. You can't say that a man is equal to a woman. The bodies are actually materially different. The needs of the body are materially different, so they can't be equal. But on spiritual platform, The soul is equal. So anyone who is spiritually inclined, may they be women, may they be from merchants, workers, they are as equal as any other sannyasi. Why? Because actually they are spiritually situated. Again, here merchants and workers are considered lower class. Why are they considered lower class? Only because they have more tendency to sin, they have more tendency towards matter or material enjoyments or material benefits. Take for example workers or laborers. Most of the time, workers and laborers, they have to be, you have to tell them that you need to finish this much work, otherwise they will just keep taking time longer and longer, because they might actually sleep in the afternoon or just go booze. If they are just given money, then they will not increase or grow the money. They will just, like, the money will become thin air, because they will just use it for sense gratification. If the same money is given to a merchant or like a vaishya, a business company, they will take the money and they will make money even more and more, even to the exploitation of others. If you then take the same money and give it to a kshatriya, person who is an administrator class, they will make sure that the administration is running perfect, everyone is kept, peacefully happy. And if you give the same money to a brahmana will take that money and hand it over to the relevant people, and they will guide them in the Krishna consciousness. They will make use of that money in Krishna consciousness. So this is a difference of the same resource but handed over to different people. So here, are all these human beings? Yes, but their material makeup is different. And because their material makeup is different, they are using the same material energy and getting different outcomes from the same material energy. And therefore, according to what outcomes they are getting, and whether those outcomes are temporary or long lasting, you can understand that how one person is lower and one person is higher, because one person has been able to use the same resource and actually able to give longer lasting benefits. So this is how human society, yes, everyone is equal actually, but materially we may not be equal. Materially, a woman's body is a woman's body, a man's body is a man's body, a child's body is a child's body. You can't expect a small child to lift like 20, 30, 40 kgs worth of bricks. Not possible, because the body capacity is not there. So here
Ramu,
Krishna is, yes, ma, yes, Prabhu.
there are things that men can't do that women can do as well.
Hmm.
So I mean, so they, yeah, they have different bodies. I agree with you, and there are certain things that women are better in than men.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
yes.
in general, I'm generalizing.
No, no, you're right. So I'll give you example. Bats can see much better than humans. Even animals can do certain things better than men. Not just women can do certain better things than men, but I'm saying even animals, certain lower species have higher capacities than humans. But what we are saying is materially, certain bodies, they don't have so much intellect, or they don't have certain capacities for doing austerities and tapasyas. So in that sense,
Oh,
the bodies are considered lower and higher. So
okay.
therefore, the women's body is considered slightly lower. So when Krishna is meaning lower, he is not intending to, he's just saying things as he has created them. Creator is just telling things
Yeah,
as he's created them.
I
Creator
understand.
is, yeah, Creator is not saying that, they are unequal spiritually, because they are all equal spiritually is mentioned already in second chapter. That you're not the body, you are the spirit soul, and spirit soul can't be burnt, withered away by wind and all those things. So at the
Yeah,
platform, so when, yeah.
I think Bidisha wants to ask a question. She's got her hand raised.
Okay, yes,
Uh,
thank you for saying mentioning that. Yes,
Oh,
Mataji.
sorry. Yeah. So it also, like the woman thing is, does it have any correlation to Indra killing Vishvarupa and the sins were divided, who will take the sin, the earth, the tree, and I think the woman also.
Yes, women also took some sin, and the water also took some sin. Yeah, it's a very good point, but it's not directly related just to that, because women, even before that burden of accepting that sin, women were still considered lower as compared to men's bodies essentially. And this whole comparison is really only in the material sense, the capacity of the women in the material sense to do austerities. And Prabhupada, he was very different to this point of view. When he came to the West, he actually saw that women are very much strong, as strong as men. And so Prabhupada actually also engaged them in all kinds of devotional services, book distribution. They also became brahmacharinis in the temple,
Yeah,
you
and I
know.
think that is why he created like ISKCON, because actually in strict Gauriya Mutt, like my grandmother was affiliated to that, and the women
Hmm.
are not allowed to do things or over there. It has to be
Hmm.
only the brahmacharis and male. And
Yes.
Prabhupada was the first one to recognize and said, like, no, why not? And he had
Yeah.
to separate and create Ishkan, if I remember it loosely, or I may not have the detailed facts, but I feel he is the first one
Hmm.
to
Eh,
empower women. Yes, everybody is equal, and at the end of the day, in the material world, we all are women. There is only one
Yes.
Purush,
One man.
Krishna.
That is from the spiritual perspective, Mati. You
Yeah,
got it completely. There is
yeah,
only one man. Everyone else is a female. They
yeah,
people don't get it. People would not get this point. It's too difficult to explain them. Specifically,
yeah,
it's very difficult to explain this to like a 6 footer, very charismatic man who has got a heavy,
right,
deep voice. That you are not a man, you're a woman, and they'll say, "What? I'm a military man." They
right.
just won't get it. But yes, Prabhupada's main purpose of creating ISKCON was not just for empowering women. Prabhupada has published 7 principles of ISKCON's existence. To print literatures, to distribute literatures to masses, to provide people systematic spiritual life, and all of that. So, but Prabhupada was not dogmatic. He was, open-minded. He saw what the situation was for the Kali Yuga people, and he improvised so that people can actually get the essence, which is Krishna. If you're just caught in feminism, manism, womenism, and all kinds of isms, what you easily miss is the essence, which is actually you are the soul. You are right now just identifying your body with a woman's body or a merchant's body or a Shudra's body or this body or that body. In reality, your need is to actually worship Krishna. The soul's need is to worship Krishna. The soul's need is to please Krishna, is to make Krishna happy. And when Krishna becomes happy, the soul becomes happy. This is the actual purpose. But the problem is we are all stuck with many isms. But Krishna here is mentioned because he is the creator. He has to say things as he has created them. So he's mentioning clearly that the woman's body is lower body because it has different needs. And therefore, but he's saying that even people of any birth can attain me. Even man's body is a lower body if he's a Shudra. Because Shudras, all they do is, if you give them some money, they will just wipe it off. They will just enjoy senses, nothing more than that. So Shudra is, a laborer, a man who is a laborer will also do this. So their bodies are also lower in that sense. So there are higher bodies, like those of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. So Krishna is saying that, okay, even if someone has not got a very high kind of a body because of their karma, because of whatever actions and reactions they have accumulated, nonetheless, they can become pure devotees. Pure devotees. Krishna is mentioning Shuddha Bhakti. He's not mentioning any interim level of bhakti. It's just directly mentioned Shuddha. They can come to this platform of Shuddha Bhakti. And so we saw this in the West. When Prabhupada came, he we have seen a lot of people directly from the streets walk into the temple and become, one of some of the best devotees. So from complete failures to the great people. Why? Because of association of devotees. And this is what exactly Krishna is saying, that there is no disqualification from becoming a pure devotee. And then Krishna is saying that what to speak of people who are already very qualified. And then Krishna goes on to explain who are the qualified people. He is saying pious brahmanas. Kim punar brahmana punya, not ordinary brahmanas, pious ones, not brahmana by surname. Sharma, Upadhyay, Mishra, Trivedi, Dwivedi, not like that. Brahmana in action, Brahmana who is cultivating piety every day. So what he's saying, what to speak of pious brahmanas? Then he's saying devotees and saintly kings. Saintly king is a higher body. Hmm? Having come to this temporary, material, miserable world, engaging in loving service of Krishna. So Krishna is saying that everyone can actually come, whether they are low body or whether they are high body, they all can attain pure devotional service. And then finally, Krishna concludes, which is the essence, the worship Krishna directly. And this verse, these six verses, sorry, not six, more than six, from 26 to 34, one must by heart. And then 10th chapter, verses 8 to 11, one must by heart. Because they are joy giving verses. They will give you joy. If you stray away from devotional life, they'll bring you back into devotional life. They have so much potency bestowed in these verses. So this is one such dearmost verse to me. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evayasi yukta vaivam atmanam matparayanaha. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer obeisances to me. You will surely come to me having absorbed yourself completely in me and taking my shelter. This is Krishna's
Prabhu,
conclusion.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Um, is this the verse that is similar to the verse? I think it's 1844, 18 something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
They said two verses are very similar or the same but different, something like that.
So, yeah, they're same. They're just
1844 or
80. I think it is
1840?
it. Yeah, yeah. It goes man manabhav madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evayasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. That is 1844, I think. So it's very similar to this. But there Krishna is saying, I'm telling you all this because you are my very dear friend. Mamivayasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Priyo, you are very priya to me. Priya, you are very dear to me, and therefore I'm telling you all of this. So here Krishna's emotions are coming out. And in entire Bhagavad Gita, there are only few chapters and few shlokas in which Krishna's emotions are coming out. And every time his emotions are coming out, it is for this kind of devotee, pure devotee. Like 922,
Okay.
Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Pariyupasate Tesam Nityabhiyuktamam Yogakshemam Vahamyam. For them, I will carry what they lack and I'll preserve what they have. And I'll do it personally myself. So this
Okay,
is
I'm
Krishna.
confused. Yeah, I'm confused with another verse with the words using just surrender unto me and forget all forms of religion, something like that.
Yeah,
That's the
that
one
is the
I'm
last
confused with.
verse. Yeah, that is
Oh,
the very
really?
last verse. Yeah, yeah, very last or third last verse. And that is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita in 18th chapter, where he says that surrender all varieties, give up all varieties of religion and completely surrender to me, and do not fear.
Yeah, it's worth learning
Yeah.
what you've learned, but just forget it all.
So essentially, if you can memorize these verses 922, 926 to 934, and then 10:8 to 10:11, you will have amazing experience in your devotional life because these verses are heart wrenching. Because in these verses, Krishna is putting his emotions out. So this is ninth chapter, and we will continue. This is why this is called secrets of all the yoga practices. It's called Raj Vidya because Krishna is just directly telling her, leave everything, keep everything apart, just surrender unto me, just think of me now all the time, just become my devotee, just worship me, offer obeisances to me, and you will be sorted. This is what Krishna is saying. He's summarizing so beautifully for Arjun because Arjun is non envious. Arjun is a dear friend of Krishna. So Krishna is willing to tell him the most intimate, most confidential knowledge. Um, but after this, when Krishna tells Arjuna, "No, always think of me," then Arjun asks a question. So, how do I think of you always? Right? This is an immediate next question. So, this is where actually the 10th chapter begins. It's called Vibhuti Yoga or the opulence of the absolute. Vibhuti means opulences. By contemplating the vibhutis or the opulences, one realizes that all creation is permeated by the divine energy of Lord Krishna, which purifies the heart and mind of the devotee. So if you read 10th chapter, it will purify your heart and mind. Huh? It will remove all your sins and miseries from one's life. So if you have any miseries in life, your father's passed away, your mother's passed away, or your relationships are not working, or whatever is not working, if you have any misery in your life, then you should go and read 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga. And this is what Lord Shiva tells to Mother Parvati in Gita Mahatmya. He says, "Thus, O Parvati, anyone who listens to the teachings of Krishna in the 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, and meditates upon the divine manifestations revealed therein will attain liberation, gain spiritual wisdom, and realize the eternal truth that Krishna is the Supreme Being." This chapter is key to the ultimate knowledge and is the most sacred part of the Bhagavad Gita. So, ninth chapter is most confidential, and this part is the most sacred. Because if you have to summarize the whole Bhagavad Gita in just four shlokas, then those four shlokas are in this chapter of 10th chapter. So therefore, it's a very relevant. And this chapter is actually very simple. It's just divided into four portions, where Arjun is asking Krishna told, "Always remember me, Arjun." So Arjun says, "How can I remember you?" So Krishna starts to tell him that he is actually unknown and he is the source of all. So if someone has to constantly remember Krishna, then he can remember Krishna by knowing aspects and features of Krishna. And then Krishna tells this Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. Chatur means four, and Shloki means shlokas. So Bhagavad Gita summarized in four shlokas, which is pure bhakti is the essence, which is what is mentioned in these verses 8 to 11. They must be by hearted at all costs. And then from 12 to 18, Arjun accepts that Krishna is the supreme person. He is the Arjun completely accepts Krishna as the authority and tells him that you tell me more. How can I remember you? You tell me more. I want to understand how can I remember you constantly. And Arjun asked this for a very specific reason. And then from 19 to 42, which is till the end of this chapter, Krishna describes his opulences. What are his different opulences? So we might not be able to finish all of it today. So we will possibly try and finish until first three sections, and then 19 to 42 we'll try and see if we can finish or not. Do you want a break or are you good? Let me just see your faces. I've not seen you in a while. Okay, here we go. You're on mute.
I'll
I
take
wouldn't
two
mind a
minutes and come
couple of
back.
minutes. Yeah,
Okay,
me too. Yeah.
let's do a 5 minute break.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, thank
okay.
you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. What do you see on the screen?
We see you on the right hand side and us, and then key. Krishna is unknowable.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that.
okay. So you're seeing actually both all of this.
Yes.
Okay, 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 perfect. So we just saw the key that this simple chapter. First is Arjuna, is asking a question. How do I see you? You're asking me to think of you all the time. How can I think of you all the time? And then in this chapter, Krishna begins telling Arjun even more wonderful knowledge about himself. And then Krishna explains the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. And then Arjun accepts whatever Krishna is saying, that Krishna, yes, you are the authority. I completely. And then Arjun accepts his limitation. And then after Arjun has accepted his limitation, Krishna starts to tell Arjun about himself, about his opulence. So we'll go through it. It's very, very relishable, this portion. So this is the same thing. Previous chapter Krishna asked to fix his mind and intelligence on him. In this chapter, Krishna describes his opulences, on which a sadhaka means a practicing devotee, can fix his or her mind and remember him whenever, wherever he or she sees anything opulent, powerful, and beautiful in this world. Um, And now Krishna says this knowledge is even more wonderful knowledge. So Krishna has spoken most confidential knowledge in ninth chapter, but even more wonderful than that knowledge is this knowledge, is what Krishna is saying. And I'm telling you this because you are my very dear friend, filled with love. So in previous chapter, Krishna says, "You are not envious of me." It's I can give you a knowledge to someone if someone is not envious of me. But it's one thing to be not envious, meaning in a neutral situation, but it's another thing to be positively having a relationship of love and affection. So here Krishna is saying, because you have so much love and affection for me, I'll tell you even most wonderful thing. And Krishna in this chapter therefore reveals Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita to Arjun. Says, because you are filled with love for me, and therefore for your benefit I will tell you paramam vachaha. Paramam means topmost, and even greater than what I've already spoken to you. Please listen. Hmm? Krishna says that no one knows me actually. Neither the host of demigods nor great sages know my extraordinary origin or opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and the sages. So, word used for Krishna in scriptures is called asama urdhva. Asama urdhva. This word means no one is equal to or above Krishna. So it's the same thing Krishna is mentioning here in this verse, that actually no one knows me, no one is equal to me, and no one is above me. No one can understand me by scholarship. No one can understand Krishna by mental speculation. You can't sit in a room of yours and one fine day say, "Oh, God may be like this, God may be like that." That's what a lot of people actually do. They're called armchair philosophers. They just sit back, relaxed, have a cup of tea or smoke some cigar, and then they speculate. What would be God like if God is God? So you can't know God like that. So okay, then how do we understand Krishna then? That's a question to you. If you can't know Krishna by mental speculation, you can't know Krishna by scholarship, then how can you know Krishna really? No thoughts?
By his pastimes. It can't be his pastimes because that's in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Exactly.
So it
By,
can't be.
go ahead.
So by him telling more intimate things.
Okay, okay. Bidisha Mataji, you have something to share?
Um, Gauranga Prabhu already, Vijay Gauranga Prabhu already mentioned one, and I think his knowledge, um,
Knowledge, you're going in the right direction.
Um, then does it coincide with like how the other day we were asking with the additional four qualities that he have that differentiates him?
No,
Okay, okay.
no,
So the knowledge is there, then is it his power or
no.
okay,
Is it something that we've already spoken about? Full surrender.
Yes,
surrender,
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
But
renounced?
why is it repeated like this then? That's
Because Krishna wants to explain that no one can actually know him, not even Arjuna. He is stressing this point to Arjuna in this chapter because now he's going to tell him even more wonderful knowledge. And this knowledge cannot be known by anyone, nor can be understood by anyone unless Krishna tells you this or explains you this. No one can understand. So, therefore, Prabhupada is mentioning that actually no one can understand Krishna, not by mental speculation, not by scholarship. You know, so the only way to understand Krishna is one can understand Krishna only by studying his own words in Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And Krishna's own words, Krishna explains that the only way to understand him is through his knowledge, his own knowledge that is given in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and through devotional service.
Mm.
And through devotional service. If you do seva, see the servant does service, right? And the
Yes.
master always knows who's the servant. Servant sometimes may not know the master, but may not know the master fully, may know the master only some little bit, but master will always know about the servant. So Krishna always knows his servant. You know, someone I've written slimmed Bhagavatam. It's actually Srimad Bhagavatam, not slimmed Bhagavatam. But essentially, um, what happens is Krishna.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Now I realized I read it Srimad only. Now when you highlight now,
This is what I'm saying. Devotees never criticize, because they're perfectly saints. They don't see any faults in anything. So this is auto correction, modern day auto correction. Anyway, so Krishna always knows his servant, um, more than someone trying to speak, trying to say something. Krishna will always know even someone who comes to the temple and picks up the shoes of the devotees or puts the shoes in the correct racks. Krishna knows every single person who comes to the temple, even outside the temple, anywhere, anyone who is doing any service, Krishna knows them. So, um, so Krishna says that no one is he can't be known because he's unlimited and he's so amazing. He can't be known unless and until he tells you about himself. This is what Krishna is trying to stress to Arjun. And actually, this is the verse which tells this is the key to freedom from sins. One who knows Krishna is freed from all sins. He who knows me as unborn, as beginningless, and as the supreme proprietor of all the worlds, he only undiluted among men is freed from all sinful reactions in this world. Because if actually you know that Krishna is the Veti Loka Maheshwaram, he is actually the owner and proprietor of all the worlds. It indicates that one should know that Lord Krishna is the supreme proprietor of all planetary systems and universes. He was existing before creation. He is different from his creation. All demigods were created within this material world, but as far as Krishna is concerned, it is said that he is not created. Therefore, Krishna is different even from the great demigods like Lord Brahma and Shiva. And because he is the creator of Brahma and Shiva and all the demigods, he is the supreme person of all the planets. So, if you know Supreme Lord, then you will actually engage in his devotional service. And the day you engage in his devotional service, all your sins will be vanquished in a moment. Literally, in a moment, your sins can be vanquished. So, Krishna is further explaining that he is actually the source of all qualities and all personalities. He's telling this to Arjun. And if you accept this, then it will lead to a surrender. So he says that, I'm the intelligence, knowledge, freedom from illusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, sense control, and mind control. And Prabhupada In his purport has taken every single word and he is given like full paragraphs and paragraphs of purport. So please, my humble request is go and read the purport of each of for each of these qualities. Happiness, distress. So here, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence. Here the word ahimsa is used. Prabhupada, oftentimes when he describes this word ahimsa, he says that ahimsa doesn't mean not doing any violence. If you are not speaking about Krishna, you are committing violence. If you have knowledge of Krishna and you are actually not speaking of Krishna, then you are a very violent person, because actually you're not positively giving the world, you're not feeding the world positively, and not, absence of positivity will result in feeding negativity in the world. Yes, yes,
Uh,
Vijayakant.
it's working now.
Hmm.
So yeah, ahimsa. Um, but yeah, speaking of Krishna with devotees, fine. Speaking with Krishna sometimes with non-devotees, also fine. But it depends on their interest. So I'm not
Hmm.
going to speak to people that will not show interest.
Of course, good mangoes, right? One line answer is focus on good mangoes. Don't spread your energy unnecessarily.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be positively discriminate which type of
Yes,
people. Yeah, okay.
yes, yes, yes.
So that's
But
not
if
ahimsa.
no, that is, yeah, that's right. You're not violent to them. What happens is devotees, even amongst themselves, we are just doing chores, we are just doing services. But actually, we don't pause and speak about Krishna with each other. Actually, we don't meditate on any wonderful qualities of Krishna when we are with each other. What we are talking with each other, okay, whether that service is finished or not, and all those things.
Yeah, that's
Everything
true.
related to service.
That's correct. That's correct. That happens more often.
Yeah. So we have to make attempts and efforts and practices where we become less violent. Meaning, it's not just that people outside are learning from us. Actually, we are internally also learning from each other. So if we are not keeping Krishna in the center, not discussing about him, which we'll learn just in few verses now, literally next few verses, then it becomes violence. So Prabhupada is giving meaning to each of these words. Tapam, Danam, all of these things, austerity, charity, fame, infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. So Krishna created these qualities: happiness, distress, birth, death, fearlessness. And then he created all these great personalities. The seven great sages were created by him. Shapta Rishis, they are called. It goes Jamadagni, Atri, Bharadvaj, Gautama Kashyapa, Gautama Kashyapa, Vishwamitra. So these are some of the seven great sages that I just mentioned to you. And then the four Kumaras were created by Krishna. The Manus, the progenitor of mankind, came from me, born from my mind. They were absorbed in thinking of me, and all the living beings descend from them, from the Manus. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that, look, Arjun, you are there in this time, which is Dwapar Yuga, and you are here in the battlefield. But know that knowledge of me is extremely rare, and I'm about to tell you even more wonderful thing. But before I tell you this most wonderful thing, you have to understand that I'm actually all the qualities, and I'm all the personalities that you have ever known in your life.
So what is the relation? I'm sorry, but what is the relation with that last um, last paragraph, the seven great sages, the four Kumaras? What's the relationship between that and learning about Krishna's opulences? Or it's talking here about he's the source.
Yeah, so
So
here
I'm
Krishna is just mentioning that he is the source of all qualities and personalities that are known to Arjun already. See, Arjun, when he's raised, he knows these personalities, because back in those days in Dwapar Yuga, these personalities were directly worshipped or known. They would descend. Manus would descend. People would actually see them. Seven great rishis could be seen. Four Kumaras would actually come down to earth. Now they can't, they don't, and they won't. But back in days, Arjuna would relate to all of these people. because they were really revered people. So Krishna is actually telling them, all these people that you revere, that you have known, and all these great qualities that you are cultivating throughout your life, these are all created by me. This is what Krishna is telling Arjun. So he says, one who is convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service undoubtedly. So Krishna is telling that one who actually knows that I am the owner of all of these things, and you know all of these things, you revere all of these things, you have been cultured into this system and environment. So you have to know that these are all coming from me. And if you know this, then anyone who knows all of these opulences of mine, they will engage in unalloyed devotional service to me. Avikalpena yogena. Vikalpa means options. Avikalpa means without any options. So you have no option. After you have known so much about Krishna, you have no other option in your heart and mind but to engage in my unalloyed devotional service. So he's saying that all these people who actually know so much of this confidential knowledge, they engage in my unalloyed devotional service. So from now, Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita begins, which is the most important section, and this is called the summary of Bhagavad Gita. And this summary of Bhagavad Gita is 4 shlokas, and these 4 shlokas are divided into 2 sections, 2 plus 2. In the first 2 sections, Krishna is telling, how does my devotee worship me? And then next 2 shlokas, Krishna is telling, how do I reciprocate with them? That's very beautiful, isn't it? Is first Krishna is telling you how my pure devotees worship me, and next two verses is telling how I will reciprocate with my pure devotees.
Sounds interesting.
Yes. So here Krishna then begins with saying, this is how devotees worship Krishna. This is how devotees worship me. Sorry, this is eighth first. So eighth, Krishna says, Krishna is the source of aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. He says, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. After telling that I am all the qualities and I am all these great personalities, let me tell you, actually I am also the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Everything comes from me and operates due to me, and those who know this engage in my devotional service. Such wise people lovingly worship me with their hearts. This is how devotees worship Krishna. Pure devotees worship Krishna. Lovingly worship Krishna from their hearts. And then this is symptoms of a purity. Machita madgata prana bodhayantas parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. With their minds absorbed in me, their lives fully devoted to my service, my pure devotees enlighten one another by conversing about me always. So, pure devotees, this is what they are doing, and thus experience great satisfaction and bliss. So, this is how devotees worship Krishna with all their hearts and mind, constantly conversing and relishing Krishna. Huh? So, this is how devotees worship Krishna. Then, how does Krishna reciprocate with them? Is explained in the next 2 verses. Krishna says, Krishna gives an intelligence to his devotees. Tesam satata yuktanam. Satata means constantly. Yuktanam means engaged. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. Bhajatam means to serve, but serve how? Pritipurvakam. Priti means out of affection, out of love, out of devotion. So someone who is serving, who is doing bhajan out of love, out of affection, what does Krishna do to them? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give them the necessary understanding by which they can come to me. See, we don't have full understanding of how to reach Krishna. And Krishna is saying, I will give them the understanding by which they can come to me. Now, hereupon, something very interesting has been mentioned by Prabhupada in the purports. See, so the conclusion is the ultimate goal is Krishna for the devotees. The path is slowly but progressively traversed. So if you have to reach Krishna, there has to be slow and steady progress there. When a person knows the goal of life but is dedicated to the fruits of his activities, he is acting in karma yoga. Okay? He just wants results of his actions. So that person is acting in karma yoga. When he knows the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculation to understand Krishna, he is acting in jnana yoga. So you know Krishna is the goal, but still, you want to have pleasure of your mind by speculating, oh, how Krishna must be, what he must be eating, or how he must be sleeping, or you just speculate so much about Krishna. So you are actually attracted to jnana or knowledge of Krishna. So you are acting in jnana yoga. Huh? And when he knows the goal, when one knows the goal is Krishna, and one seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, then he is acting in Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. So this is the difference between, Karma Yoga, which is on the devotional platform. So we become devotees, but we still are doing Karma Yoga. We become devotees, but we are still attracted to knowledge of Krishna. But if you are attracted to Krishna and completely make Krishna the goal of your life, and you are constantly in consciousness of Krishna and acting in Bhakti Yoga, then that is called true Krishna consciousness, or the highest level of understanding of Krishna. So Krishna says, I give this level of understanding. See, if Krishna doesn't give, you can't get. This is not a path of getting. You can make efforts, but at the end of the day, Krishna reciprocates and gives this to you. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita has to be revealed in your heart. We can do Bhakti Sastri, we can study and recite so many shlokas, but if we don't follow the process of devotional service, no seva, no sadhana, then Krishna will not reveal himself. Krishna is not forced to reveal himself. Krishna will see your sincere desires and sincere heart, and he may choose to reveal to you, because Krishna has to give this necessary understanding in the heart. Yes, Jai Gaurang Prabhu.
Prabhu, this is also sadhana,
What?
Bhakti Shastri course.
Yes, it is upasana. It is worship of
It's,
the Supreme Lord.
yeah, I mean, so it's also sadhana.
Uh, yes,
Or
it is
am
upasana.
I incorrect?
Yes, you, in the sense that it's not sadhana, it's upasana. Sadhana means something that is done regularly. So if you were chanting shlokas regularly, that becomes sadhana. But if you are attending a course, that is something extra that you are doing. So you are worshipping the Lord through this course. Actually, in reality, you are worshipping the Lord through your intelligence. And this Krishna confirms in 18th chapter that whoever has studied this Bhagavad Gita with intelligence, with attentiveness and with intelligence, they are worshipping me through their intelligence. You can worship with flowers and incense and all that thing. That is one form of worship. But Krishna says even higher, that worship is worship through intelligence. So
Oh,
this
really?
course that you, yeah. So this course that you are doing, this is upasana, which means worship through intelligence. That's why it's called Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi means intelligence.
Okay. Um, all right. A little bit confusing, but okay, fine.
Hmm.
That's fine.
So Krishna will give you the intelligence of how to come to him. Hmm? And this is how Krishna reciprocates. Krishna says, he will mercifully, to show them special mercy, I dwelling in their hearts, destroy the darkness born of ignorance with the shining lamp of knowledge. So Krishna will give you the knowledge. See, the knowledge has to be given, it can't be taken. And this is the big point that one has to understand. You can do so much, but if you don't become surrendered, if you don't follow the process, if you don't follow the acharas, you don't follow the authorities, or if you are genuinely not interested in Krishna, then Krishna will not give to you. This has to be given by Krishna. We can't take, sometimes you join early in your devotional life, you join and you do so many services because you are energetic, you are young, and you want to achieve, you want to make name and fame. Krishna sees your heart, and Krishna may not reveal the true understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, you may get knowledge, but you may not get wisdom, because wisdom comes from Krishna. Krishna gives realization. He makes gyan into vigyan, meaning knowledge into realized knowledge. So that happens by Krishna. Krishna has to give that, and Krishna says that he will know, he will reciprocate. He will reciprocate with the devotee by destroying their ignorance and by giving them knowledge. So these four verses, they are the summary of Bhagavad Gita. Hmm? Here the word uses to show them special mercy. Mercy, and the word uses anukampa. Anukampa. Anukampa means compassion. Tesam eva anukampartham. Anukampa. Anukampa means compassion. To show them special mercy means to show them special compassion. I will, dwelling in their hearts, will destroy the darkness born of ignorance, the shining lamp of knowledge. So this is what Krishna says. And here Mayavadis claim that devotees are naive sentimentalists sometimes. But that is not true. Why devotees are not sentimentalists? Even though they may have sentiments for the Lord, they also have full knowledge of the Lord. Why do they have full knowledge of the Lord? Because Krishna says, I will give this knowledge to them. So devotees are not just sentimentalists. Here Prabhupada is saying, even if a devotee is not so much advanced in literature, suppose someone doesn't know so much literature, or even he is not advanced of his spiritual master, but even if a devotee does not take advantage of the literatures or of his spiritual master. So there are disciples, right, who sometimes don't listen or don't take advantage of the knowledge of spiritual master. So Prabhupada is saying, but if he is a sincere in his devotional service, if he is sincere in his seva, if you don't skip your seva, if you are not lethargic for your seva, and if you are always willing to do the seva, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So this is a very, very big statement. What Prabhupada is saying, if someone is so foolish that they are not reading scriptures, so foolish that they are actually not listening to their spiritual masters, but they have one good quality. Whatever service, whatever seva they are getting, they are doing it sincerely. So even in this case, Prabhupada is saying Krishna will help such a person. So all we have to do is we have to be sincere in our seva. What is your seva? You should ask this question. And sincerity in seva means consistency, persistency, resiliency, and mood of servant, attitude of a servant. That is basically a proper servant. So if you are a proper servant, then you know, even if you have some plus minus, Krishna will still help you. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is then one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. This is the only qualification. You be sincere and carry out devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Whatever service you have been assigned by the temple, by other devotees, just be sincere and do the service. And this is your qualification. This is how you will actually know Krishna. This is how your ignorance from their heart will be cleared out. Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating, one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by the Supreme Lord here. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they be without sufficient education and even without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, are still helped by the Supreme God, as is stated in the verse. And we see this in villages. Villages, people are uneducated, but spiritually they are more advanced than the people of the cities. Is that correct? You agree with this point?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I
So,
can't comment. I can't comment. I grew
Yeah,
okay.
up here in the
I
Western
have
world.
seen some devotees, they have not studied, they can barely sign. They use their thumb. Whatever learning they have is by hearing.
Hmm.
In the classes and all that. Classes means, Sangha kind, or, gathering together and doing kirtan and all that. So whatever knowledge they have, but they don't have any doubts.
Hmm. They don't have any doubts.
They are like
And
kind of like, I've surrendered, like I've heard saying them today, like this day is surrendered to you. So they get up every day and say that
hmm.
today is your day. This day surrendered to you. Please give me shelter in your lotus feet. I've seen them, heard them
Hmm.
here saying that, and while before sleeping, they are saying that. So
Amazing. Amazing.
yeah, so uh, I mean, like, yeah, they are bigger, yeah, genuine devotees, I would say.
Exactly. Exactly. because they actually know the essence Krishna directly, because Krishna has given them that knowledge. Material knowledge, material sophistication, material wealth takes us away from Krishna sometimes. So, and there is a very good example of this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was visiting South India. He came across a person who was blind, and he was holding Bhagavad Gita, and he was weeping. You are on mute, Prabhu.
He was holding it upside down.
Upside down, yes,
Yeah.
yes, and he was weeping, and so he was not blind. I think he was just illiterate. He could see, but he was just illiterate. He was, and he was just seeing this picture of Krishna and Arjuna, which was the front cover of Bhagavad Gita, and he was just weeping. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to him and asked him, "Why are you weeping?" He said that my spiritual master has asked me to study Bhagavad Gita, but I'm illiterate. I can't even. I've never studied how I've not learned how to read and write. So, then Prabhu Mahaprabhu asked, so why are you weeping? So he says that, I'm just thinking that this personality, Krishna, he is the creator of all creation. He is the father of everyone. He is the original proprietor. Yet, he is acting like a servant of Arjun, and he has become the charioteer of Arjun. What amazing personality Krishna must be. He is definitely God. So after he says this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "You have understood Bhagavad Gita. For you there is no need to read further. You have got the essence. You have understood Bhagavad Gita completely." So this is what it is to understand Bhagavad Gita, is to understand that supreme position of the Lord, and seeing how he is affectionate to his devotees, and how only affection and love and devotional service to him. And this person, even though he was illiterate, still he was trying to follow the orders of his spiritual master. Still he was holding Bhagavad Gita, still trying to flip the pages like that. So that is another important point. By trying to follow the orders of the spiritual master, one gets um, empowered. So the ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by his chant and by devotional service, and not by mental speculation or argument. So really, Mayavadis, they think that okay, they're very learned, they can read Sanskrit slokas, and they will disregard people of the villages. They will disregard someone who is illiterate. But here, Krishna is very clear. This knowledge is revealed in the heart. Even if someone is illiterate, doesn't matter. Krishna can speak directly in their hearts. So this is Chatush. Yes, Prabhu.
I'm sorry to jump in again. So
No, no, no,
why do
no.
you say the ultimate goal is Vishnu? This is something
Because
that has been confusing me for years and years and years, and it still won't.
because in your mind and in your head you see Vishnu as a different personality and Krishna as a different personality, Mahavishnu as a different personality, but actually they are all Vishnu tattvas. So the name Vishnu can be the word, literally the word Vishnu means the supreme. So the word supreme can be used for Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Balram, and Krishna. So the problem you have in your mind is you are very fixated with one way of seeing things, and till the
Yeah.
time you break that shackle and come out of it, and it will not happen easily, because you will see picture of Vishnu, and actually that Vishnu is either Mahavishnu, or it is Shirodakshay Vishnu, or it is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And then you will read in the scriptures regular references that Mahavishnu is the supreme personality of Godhead. And in your head, you have always understood Krishna to be supreme personality of God. In reality, though, it is true that Mahavishnu is also supreme personality of Godhead. Lord Ram is also supreme personality of Godhead. Sadashiv is also supreme personality of Godhead. And then, so the problem comes when you try to broaden the mind, because so far there has been some conditioning. So this Vishnu here, the ultimate goal Vishnu can be attained only by chant and devotional service. So this Vishnu here means supreme personality. If someone who is from a different sampradaya reads the same line, Like someone who is from Sri Sampradaya who reads this line, they will read it like this only. They will read, they in their mind they will see Vishnu as Mahavishnu, or they will see Vishnu as Narayan, because their understanding is Narayan is the ultimate. Our understanding is Krishna is the ultimate and Narayan is one of the Vistar or one of the expansions. But their understanding is Narayan is the ultimate. So every time they use the word Vishnu, they are referring to Narayan in their hearts. From the mouth, the word Vishnu is coming, but the picture in their heart is of Lord Narayan. Similarly, for
So
us, as
Vishnu basically means the Supreme Lord, and if we say Vishnu, we're referring to Krishna, Lord Krishna.
correct, that's right. So in Krishna
And
conscious devotees, yes.
yeah, I mean, someone tried to give me an example, and still it's a bit confusing. If you have a
Hmm.
dentist and his name is Mr. Smith, you don't say, I'm going to Mr. Dentist. You say, you're going to Mr. Smith or you're going to the dentist. Something like that. I mean, maybe that's very simple, or I don't know. I
It's
don't know if
definitely,
that's, huh?
yeah, and they tried. They definitely made a genuine attempt, because what
Hmm.
this whole topic is a topic of the tattvas and expansions combined. Vishnu is a
Okay.
tattva, okay. At the same time, Vishnu is an expansion of the Supreme Lord, and all the incarnations also come through Vishnu. Specifically, Mahavishnu they come through. This verse I was just mentioning this morning. There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which says, Etannanavatara nam nidhanam bijam avyayam yasya amsha amshena srijyante devatriyaknar adayah. The verse says that all of these amshas, all of these yasya amsha amshena, meaning the portions of the portions. I'm going to describe you all the incarnations, and these incarnations are actually portions of the portions of whom Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu's portions of the portions or amshas, they are also called incarnations. I'm about to tell you about 2024 such incarnations in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is what Shukdev Goswami is saying in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there also the word Vishnu is regularly used. But Vishnu is an adjective, but Vishnu is also a person. But when you speak of a person, then you have to be specific. Which person? Is it Mahavishnu? Because Mahavishnu is only one. Is it Karnodakshay? Sorry, is it Shirodakshay Vishnu? Shirodakshay Vishnu enters into each of the universes. So there are unlimited universes. So there are unlimited Shirodakshay Vishnus. Or is it a Garbhodakshay Vishnu? Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters into each universe. And within the universe, there are unlimited planets, unlimited atoms and elements. So Shirodakshay Vishnu enters into every atom and every element and every soul, in every heart as a super soul. So you have to know which level of Vishnu are we speaking. And even if we are doing this Tulsi prayers in the morning, right? Vrindaya Tulsi Devya Priyaya Keshava Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavataya Namo Nama. Give me the bhakti of Vishnu.
Yeah.
That's what we say. There also you may say, oh, why is it not Krishna Bhakti? She should give me Krishna Bhakti. No, but it is Shastra, and Shastra has to be kept as it is. In Shastra, the word uses Vishnu Bhakti. So she will give you Vishnu Bhakti. And of course, she is fully empowered to give you Krishna Bhakti also. But there you can interchangeably use word Krishna Bhakti. But Shastra is mentioning Vishnu Bhakti. So we just keep to the Vishnu Bhakti. Vishnu Bhakti is generally in awe and reverence. Not necessarily, it's also there in sweetness, but the full capacity of sweetness is not there as it is there in Krishna.
Okay.
Generally,
I suppose it's best for me to let it go for the moment and just focus on what we're trying to focus on now. Because otherwise I'm going to get overwhelmed again. I'm sorry about that. But you
no
understand
problem.
my problem.
I do understand your problem because I had the same problem. Because Prabhupada used this word Vishnu and I was expecting Krishna. Until the time I actually understood all the tattvas, what is a Vishnu tattva and how actually interchangeably, if you read Vishnu Sahasranam or thousand names of Lord Vishnu, Krishna is one of the names. If you read Balram's, if you read Lord Balram's thousand names, you will see Vishnu as one of the names. So you will go mad. So it's only understood slowly, and as you said, you will be overwhelmed. Okay, so now after Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita has been spoken, next few verses are very, very, very important because here Arjuna is accepting the position of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Arjuna is basically saying he now Arjuna is actually referencing different authorities, not just Krishna. Of course, Krishna is in front of him speaking to him, but Arjuna is actually referring to all the authorities, who have also said exactly the same thing that Krishna has said to Arjun just now. That Krishna is the source of all incarnations, Krishna is the supreme Lord, he is the knowable. So Arjun is saying that actually you are the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal personality, transcendental, the original Lord, unborn, and the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, the life of Narada is very long. So Arjun is telling me already Narada has said the same thing to me, Krishna. The what you just told to me about yourself, Narada has also told me. Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, they all confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me, Krishna. So this is so amazing to Arjun. Arjun knew it all the while, even when he was joking with Krishna. But all his knowledge about Krishna was covered with love for Krishna. So he could never remember or realize that Krishna is a supreme power. But he now, when Krishna is saying the same thing, Arjuna is realizing, oh no, 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 no. I've already heard of these things from Narada, Asita, Devala, and these are all great sages. Lifespan is very long of these sages. So they have, sustained the generations after generations of knowledge passing. So here Arjuna is establishing the authenticity of the words of Krishna by referring to all the great sages. Hmm? So then he says that no one knows you, O Krishna. Actually, I totally accept this truth that all you've told me, neither the demigods nor the demons can understand you. In fact, even Lord Balram gets confused sometimes. Balram is the first expansion of Krishna, right? In the Krishna Leela, Lord Krishna actually, it was birthday of Lord Balram. So on that birthday, Mother Rohini was, she woke up Lord Balram and, bathed him nicely. And then there was a ceremony, he was giving gifts. In the meantime, Krishna and cowherd boys were out and about. And on that day, Brahma saw that, okay, just yesterday, Krishna has killed this snake demon, this python. So maybe this Krishna is not really God, he is just some ordinary demon, you know. So disguised as some mystic personality. So Brahma stole all the cows and all the friends of Krishna. And Krishna immediately realized that this is Lord Brahma. So Krishna expanded into all of his friends, all of the cows and cowherds, and they all went back home that day. And for 1 year, all the Brajbasis, they were loving all their sons more and more. Usually they would love Krishna more and more. But in that 1 year, Balramji saw that, there is something very weird going on. Every day when Krishna would come back from grazing the cows, everyone would love Krishna instead of loving their own sons. But I'm seeing regularly that these Brajbasis are now loving their own cows, they are loving their own sons, they are not loving Krishna so much. So Balramji also got confused. What's happening? After 1 year, Lord Balram came to know. 1 full year, Lord Balram came to know that Krishna expanded himself into all of the cowherds, the cowherd boys and Gopas. So even Lord Balram says that even if I want to with glorify Krishna with my millions and unlimited mouths, I will never be able to fully glorify Krishna. So actually, no one knows Krishna, and Arjun is confirming this fact. And then he says, only you know yourself. Only Krishna, you are the unlimited supreme person. Only you can know yourself. No one can know you, Baba. It's impossible. Knowing you is impossible. Only you can know yourself fully. Hmm? And then he says, please tell me more. In what all forms do you manifest? Hmm? And then he's literally telling Krishna that I'm never satisfied hearing more about you. No satiation in hearing about you. The more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. These are some of the next verses. Basically, they are establishing one simple point in a reader's mind. The point is, that Krishna, is not boastful. Krishna is not boasting about himself that, oh, I am the creator of everything. Whatever Krishna is saying, same thing has been heard from other people, other great personalities of all times, not some time, not 1 millennia, not 2 millennia, of all the millennials. That Arjuna is telling. So Arjuna is creating this authenticity. He's creating this authority of Krishna's words. That Krishna, whatever you're saying is true. It's coming from all the authority. It's not just you saying it to me. And actually, I completely get it. No one can know you because you are unlimited, and only you can know yourself, O Krishna. Unless an unlimited personality tells me I am very limited, and all of the people who are above me, who are better than me, who have a bigger lifetime than me, Narada, Asita, they are also saying that you are unlimited, you are the original unborn. So now I can understand that they also don't know you, I also don't know you, only you know yourself. So you are the only person who can tell us about yourself. No one can tell us about you properly, only you can properly tell us about yourself, because you are the original unlimited personality. So therefore, he's saying, please tell me more about you, and I'm never satisfied, hearing more about you. So next set of sections, Krishna goes and speaks about his opulences. And when Krishna speaks about his opulence, Krishna is not boasting. That is established in these verses. Krishna is never boastful, because someone randomly picks up Bhagavad Gita, they open and then they read, oh, I am the lion among animals. Fine, what is this? Krishna is telling me, is Krishna very proudy? Is Krishna very, boastful kind of a personality? What kind of supreme personality of God it is this? If they read out of context, that's why this context has been set by Arjuna in advance. And Krishna then, Arjuna is very specifically asking about Krishna's opulences, because people in general want to hear about opulences, right? And specifically Mayavadis, they more want to listen about opulences of Krishna. This is how they relate to the Supreme Lord, through his opulences, not through his personality. You can say that XYZ person, he has a Ferrari car. Then you have heard of Ferraris. You say, oh, really? Yes, Ferrari. What is his name? Where is he coming from? Where does he live? So your curiosity is increased because you are associating that person with Ferrari. So similarly, material world people attach importance to vibhutis or opulences. So Arjun is asking for our benefit that what opulences, Krishna, please describe me of your opulences. So there are three important things that have happened so far in this talk, in this chapter. Is essentially Krishna telling Arjuna that I'm going to give you more confidential knowledge, because you are in love with me and in affection with me. And therefore Krishna speaks to Arjun Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita, and then Arjun is accepting the position of Krishna and tells him and literally begs Krishna to tell him more about himself and tell him about his opulences. Otherwise Krishna would have never spoken of the opulences to Arjuna. Hmm? So with that, we will stop, and we will resume with the vibhutis in the next section. Vibhutis are basically opulences. So we will quickly run past through some of these opulences, which are important to be known. Actually, all opulences are good to be known, but we'll run past some of them in the next session. Any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions before we close off for the day?
No, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much for class.
Thank you so much for your patience and your attention. Hare Krishna. I'll see you all
Hare
next week.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Mataji.
Prabhuji, Hari
Hare
Bol.
Hare
Hari
Bol,
Bol.
Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Hmm.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां
Patitanam
पावनेभ्यो
pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
Vaishnavebhyo
नमः।
Namo Namaha.
कोटि वैष्णव जय।